Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the co-optional podcast. Guess who's back? Back again. Jesse's back.
Tell a friend.
He has no friends.
Hi.
What the hell is on your fucking head, Jesse? Like,
Why?
it's so large, I can't fit it in the camera.
Hold on. Hey,
There you go.
I want to point out, in a hat, I look like Elmer Fudd.
Yes.
I look
Are
like
you looking
Elmer
for some
Fudd.
wascally wabbits, is the
I
question
look like
here.
Elmer Fudd with this hat on, and I'm not sure why. Yes, I'm hunting wabbit. No, it's part of the immense swag that was. I want to point out, for those
You
of you
fucking
who have never
sell
been,
out. You sell out. That's all you go there for. You will literally travel across the world for free shit.
Here's the thing. Most of it I'm giving away because it's not like very.
Because it's not good.
swag.
All right, I see how
Yeah.
it is. You'll give the shit to your fans, no problem. But you're keeping the good stuff.
Oh no, I'm not
yes.
gonna keep this. Someone's gonna get this with my hair on it. No.
Then they can take it and clone you. Watch out.
No, this was actually a cool hat from Sunset Overdrive, and the only reason why I love it is because, as Sunset said, that's great. But underneath it just says headshot, and I really enjoy that. So
I was
good job
really
with
sad that we didn't coordinate because Jesse just put that hat on like a few seconds before we went live, and I have that hat. We could have
this
both been
Blood
wearing
Bowl,
that
this Blood
hat.
Bowl 2 ball.
Amazing.
Blood
That's
Bowl
not even
2.
remotely spiky enough to be a Blood Bowl bowl. But
I thought that too.
Bill.
A bubbly bub dab dubs.
It's a hand egg, is what it is. That's what it
Blood
is.
Bowl 2. So that's
Half of me's looking forward to Blood Bowl 2, and the other half of me saying the fucking misery that I went through last season is good enough reason never to touch that game again.
Well, they got
No,
most,
you can't
most
be
of the
defeated
races,
by that.
It was
most of the races aren't
horrible.
in it.
I suppose I should play Blood Bowl 2 as a season at some point.
You can make your own stadium.
That doesn't help.
Ow! Cats everywhere.
Well, no.
Dodger, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be back and having all three of us here like a family talking about stuff.
Video games specifically. Just
yeah,
video games. Pure
just
video
those.
games.
Only those.
Yep.
Yep.
No doubt. Oh. Krendor's here in spirit, and more specifically, he's spamming the chat. I should ban him, really.
Oh,
But
he's the worst.
he is really,
Man.
really bad. Like,
It is awful.
I was
An awful-
considering having him on the show, but I thought, you know what? Actually, a Krendor show sounds really pleasant. Let's stick with that.
Does sound great, actually.
Yeah, let's just go with that instead. Sounds like
So,
a phenomenal idea. So you're back
before
from
we-
Gamescom.
Yes.
Before we
But-
start,
okay,
I
alright.
want to address an important issue. Something important.
Yes. Okay.
Every so often, we all get sent weird foods from around the world from people. And strangely enough, when you go there, apparently my thing now is people just give me bags of food.
Right.
I didn't
right.
know that was my thing, but apparently that's the Jesse thing. People walk up
That
now and they're like,
sounds
I
dangerous.
brought you a gift. And it's bags of candy and stuff. I'm like, oh, thanks. Now I will die. And so everything I get, everyone's like, oh no, this is my great candy from England, or this is my great candy from Slovakia, this is my great candy from Holland, whatever. I want to point out to you, first off, Moem, this like
Moem?
taffy candy.
Moem is amazing,
Oh,
What
those are
is-
good.
what-
Yeah.
but
What goes
also
on?
pornographic.
They're
What?
also fairly sexual. Yeah.
Yes.
What is going on in these?
Yeah.
Look at those.
Yeah.
What is happening? It's so weird. Also,
Well, they are very juicy, Jesse, as you are well aware. Have you had any yet?
I haven't. No.
Oh,
I
have
saved
one. Have
everything.
one.
You
That's
should
so
try
good.
one right now.
They're some of my favorites.
Wait. I want to let you know that I believe
They could be poison.
they could be. Also, everyone around the world says their candy's the best.
Of course.
And then I discovered this little tidbit of information that you're all fools and liars, and you
Yeah,
get the same
it's the
candy
same thing.
rebranded.
Yeah,
And
which is hilarious because Smarties, of course, in the US are something completely different.
Something else
in the UK
altogether, yeah.
they have Smarties, but that Smarties thing doesn't seem to be from the UK. It's got some French on it or something, right?
it's
Was
like Linsitsky, it's Orion, and
What?
it looks like it's German. Or no,
German, okay.
Slovakian. Bez ulach vavris, whatever the hell that means.
Isn't that God is great? Like, I'm not sure.
And then Then I discovered the best candy in the world, a candy that got mashed. It got mashed at the airport. A candy that I tweeted about that is my new favorite candy. It is called Super Dickmans.
Of course it is.
German.
All right.
It is German. And then some guy, after I showed a picture of me eating Super Dickmans, then some guy sent me Little Dickmans, and it's all
For
little
God's
tiny
sake.
Oh my
Dickmans.
god.
They're not even trying to hide that, are they?
And they have all these little dick things. And then here's the best part: is it's
Go
even though
on.
it's mashed, even though it's mashed.
I
It's
can recommend a good
like
clinic.
this, and then the top part, wait for it, is like marshmallow goo, but then there's a wafer at the bottom, and it's so good. Dickmans.
Dickmans.
Perfect.
So I have some. I got some with a penguin on it. I got something
Well,
with
that's
stuff
an
in
actual
it.
penguin, I believe.
I don't know how.
Penguin
it works.
is called penguin.
I got something that looks like something my mom would eat. I got something called Borvickles.
What?
I don't know what this is. Hold on, we're opening. Oh my god, what is this? It's like chocolate, but
It's another dick.
It's another penis,
He's got
isn't it,
a
really?
lot of dick
it's
food.
got like gingerbread baked into it. What is going on with these countries?
It's not just chocolate gingerbread. Like, really.
I
if
got
you
a
think about it.
crunchy. Oh, it has
crunch-
blueberry
yeah.
in it too. I got a crunchy.
Crunchy is legit, yep.
I got caramels.
You got so much food. Shit.
Damn.
I had 2 bags filled with it.
That-
Why do you keep giving it to me?
That makes me want to reopen my P.O. box just so I can get some more of that shit. Try the Moen, man. I want to see
Kinder
what...
Bueno.
Oh,
Kinder
that's the
Bueno.
best.
Bueno's
Everyone knows
good.
Bueno's
Buenos
good.
are good.
Knoppers.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Colonnadas. I don't know what the hell that is.
Colonadas. That sounds worrying.
Bon Perry.
Sounds like a surgical procedure.
Crisper Flocken, which I ate some of these while we were waiting. It tastes like little Rice Krispie treat babies. It's great.
Eat the Moen.
Solvigivigal Res. I don't know what the hell that is.
That looks like a laxative.
3-bit, and then this weird plop that I've never seen before that looks like
Oh, a different
cactus
kind of plop.
Oh, like mint
Ah.
plop or
No, it
green
literally
tea plop?
says it says plop cactus parone.
Cactus
Oh my god, it
favored.
says cactus plop.
Try
oh
it.
my god.
Try it and then eat the
Oh
Moen.
my God.
And then
Yeah.
we can continue with the show.
Look, it's not opening. All right.
I wanted to
yeah.
share my passion for Moen. It's got to be done.
Okay.
What is it?
That is not a natural color.
What
That
the fuck is that?
That's not a natural color that has never existed in reality.
Oh my
But yeah.
goodness.
No, that's cactus flavored.
It's actually
tastes like-
cactus. They weren't kidding. All right.
It tastes like cactus.
All
Why
right.
would that exist?
Have you eaten cactus before? I'm just
I
curious.
have at Mexican grills and whatnot. Yes,
Hmm.
I have. It's not. I mean, it's not the most pleasant thing in candy form. I'm gonna drink some water now.
Eat the Moen.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be good.
Or Moom. Or however
Oh,
the
and
hell you
also
say it.
some guy gave me these, but
The
last
Swedes are
night,
claiming
Jer-
it's cactus plus pear.
Oh, that's what other taste is.
Yes.
That's not bad. It's coming through now. Last night, Jared Rosen ate most of these, but these are biscuit zuken biscuits. They're literally the things you would see on the, like if you made tiramisu. That's what it is.
Oh.
Interesting.
But we got those too. So,
Moen.
which one?
They're both good.
Orange.
There you go. Orange.
Just choose your favorite sexual position and eat that one.
Yeah, the joke has
This
been
one
going
is
around
what is
for
that?
like
Foot fetish?
for like 20
fetish.
years about the fact that some stuff on the front of those is really a little bit suggestive.
It's
Foot
so silly.
fetish. All right, and it's orange.
Of course.
There is nothing orange about
No.
this.
Yeah, because it's all natural. They don't put any coloring in that shit. It's good.
All I can taste is the pear.
For God's
cactus.
sake, fucking Sweden ruined it again.
They ruined Moem.
Oh, wait, hold on. That's some orange coming through is what that
There
is.
you go. There you go.
Good job, Mo. The only reason why I know Moem is because they're on every commercial on Dave between like the hours of 4 and 5.
Yeah.
I guess they sponsor The Big Bang Theory, so I know about them. So
What a weird crossover.
Awesome.
now my desk is filled
Apparently
with
they are Maoam. I don't care. They're being called Maoam. That's unnecessary syllables for a word with so few letters. That's not okay.
My desk is
Thought it was
filled
pretty
with
accurate.
sugar.
Yeah,
and
if I recall,
candy
the
right
flavors
now.
are natural, or at least they don't like color them with anything. So that's pretty cool. Welcome to the Corruptional Podcast. We do occasionally talk about video games, but only occasionally, especially when these two have been out of the country. It's like, here's exciting things from Europe, and I'm just sitting here like I experienced all this shit 10 fucking years ago. It's not interesting.
It's interesting to me.
My if you want to feel better, Jesse, my cat ate some very expensive marzipan that I brought home for my mom. So she's my least favorite cat now.
Will it die? I mean, you're not supposed to feed. No. Okay.
She's gonna be okay. I mean, you're supposed to keep an eye on your cat for 12 hours after they've eaten something like that, and it's been like over a day, and she's just peppy, so excited about life. It's like, fuck yourself, Watson. You ate my mom's marzipan.
Pick up. I just found it. I don't know why I was so excited.
Well done, jackass.
I'm sorry. I was just very excited. Pick up.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
But we did see a lot of games there. At least I did. I don't know what the hell
you
Bob
did. Yes.
She sat around jerking it over.
I was mostly at a booth, but
Why?
that's the only reason I got to go to Gamescom. Because I worked at the Dawngate booth.
All right. Fair enough.
Which was super fun, by the way. Guys, I fully endorse working at booths. It's like really fun because you've got like a home base. You can like peace out and then be like, all right, too many people. And then come back to home base.
I say the opposite of that, having also worked at a booth and having far too many fucking people approach me while I was doing commentary. It was pretty bad.
Well, I wasn't doing commentary.
Well,
I was
you're
walking.
probably
I was
fine
walking around with German flyers, being like, "You want to hear about Dawngate? Would you like to hear about Dawngate?"
That sounds like a terrible few days.
It was fun. No, it was fun because we would have 3 different PvP matches going on at the same time, and so we would all root for like a specific team and be like, "Our team's totally gonna beat you," and then we'd fight. It was fun.
Well, I guess not having to move around that convention center too much is pretty good because, as you probably now experienced, it's still in the Colin Messer, right? It's
oh my god, you
enormous.
shuffle.
It is.
You just
ginormous.
shuffle
Yep, you do.
everywhere because you can't walk.
No,
you
you can't. It's
actually
horrible.
walk anywhere. It's the
That was the
is.
hardest few days of coverage we ever did when we did 4 days of Gamescom, and even the press day was jammed with people who clearly were not press. And then everything after that just got worse and worse and worse. Getting to appointments, impossible. It was ridiculous.
I enjoyed it. I had a blast. I learned one thing. Nerds are nerds no matter where you nerd. You all look the same. All of you are the same. You think you're like so edgy by dyeing your hair or by wearing weird spiky things or no. Some kid in Germany is doing the exact same damn thing, hipster. You're not edgy. You're zero edge. Everyone was like, Jesus, everyone, if they didn't speak German, this would be like downtown LA. There's no difference. You're all trying too damn hard. Cut it out, nerds. Cut it out.
Can I admit something live
Yes.
on this stream right now? I had my very first capture session at Gamescom. My very first one. It was really exciting. Where like I got to like go into a room and like
Motion
play
capture?
a game and like capture the video.
Oh, that.
for
Okay.
Evolve?
I was going
Did
to
you
say
do the
motion
Evolve
capture.
one?
Yeah,
Alright.
I did it for Evolve. I was like, this is so cool. Can you do this for other games? And Sam just looked at me like,
Yes, although
course you can.
they've only really started doing that in a big way over the last couple of years. When we went to Gamescom originally, we got very few actual capture sessions. Most of our footage was camera pointed at a screen, like
Right.
basically the off-screen over-the-shoulder stuff. But lately, over the last few years, they've been doing a lot more of that with the kind of... A lot of these companies have realized, oh, YouTube's kind of important. We should probably let them get footage. And they prefer to give it to you in an environment where they can monitor you taking it.
exactly. I was like, see, that's smart. We get footage. You know exactly what we got. So
I think 2K is doing it probably the best at the
Yes,
moment.
right now they are. I think it was about a year and a half ago at PAX I spoke to their head of PR, and he was on about, we're really we get what this is all about now, and we're really rolling that out in a big way. They've been great to us actually since then. You know, we've got access to everything we wanted.
Yeah, they are really cool about. I mean, even when I was like, so when will I get to like do stuff with the new Civ game? Is that a thing that can? I'm like, yeah, sure. whenever it's ready to play, we'll let you play. And I was like, great, okay, thank you.
They invited me out to a session for that like 3 weeks ago, but obviously I kind of can't travel at the moment. But they are doing that specifically for YouTubers and press, just saying, come on, well, you can get hours. And they outline what it is as well, so you don't have to get on the plane before you know exactly what you're getting. It's like, you play these turns, this is the content you're going to do. If you want direct feed, by all means, come along. They're not paying for you to fly out there, by the way, so don't even ask about that. But if you don't want to do it, that's cool. Just contact us kind of close to the time for review copy and so on and so forth, which is the right way to do things, you know? That's good.
The problem, the wrong way, is as much as I like some Ubisoft now and again, the things they've done recently where it's like, sure, come out, record stuff, and then they immediately take the footage from you and are like, now we will edit everything in it.
That's, like, I would not accept
what is the
that,
point of what's the point of happening, right? Like, why do it then?
Yeah.
So all the footage always looks choppy and weird, and I was like, it makes it look worse than people seeing like, oh, a character clipped through a wall. Like,
and it's like, it's not finished. Of course they did. You know, that's not a problem. You just have to...
instead it's a video that has cuts and weird jumps, and it's like, well, that looks worse than anything that you could have shown before, but somewhere some guy's like, no, I'll never, as long as I live, I'll never forget one of the edits I had to make, and it was infuriating. I got to do an early game capture of Assassin's Creed 4, and it was a boat fighting scene, and I filmed this epic-looking boat fighting scene. I was so happy with it. There was a moment where a guy gets shot off the mast and falls into the water. It looked really cool. Because they couldn't see where he got shot off, and someone there was like, I think he just fell out of the sky? Where'd that happen? They edited that whole part out and basically scrapped I was like, that was going to sell you copies of the game. That entire scene was going to sell you, and you just destroyed it. And I was like, single tier. You guys can't do that. But that's...
Some companies are really, really worried about, something buggy was shown. It's like, Ubisoft, you're not fooling anybody. We know your game is going to have a ton of bugs when you release it because they all do. You know, I think maybe the exception lately is probably Valiant Hearts.
Right.
That wasn't too buggy, but I mean, even fucking Child of Light, I lost my entire goddamn save file, for God's sake. That was horrible.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's why I didn't cover it, because I'm like, fuck it. You know, I'm not interested enough in Child of Light to play that whole thing again. In fact, I was so bored most of the time that there was no point.
You didn't look. Jesus. I don't know. I don't remember if you were gone when I eventually beat Child of Light, but I'll let you know since I'm sure you would appreciate this. Child of Light was a game built on having multiple endings and multiple things to do and all that stuff. And in the end, they only added one ending, but left in all the scenario options for multiple endings.
What?
So you think you're influencing the game in any way possible, but you always get one ending no matter what.
Jesus.
And there's nothing you can do to change it. And then in the end, they have a thing that's like, one of the characters is like, if only she would have talked to me. And people on the internet went back through and was like, is there a new game plus? How does this work? Well, no, it's just they left it over because it was supposed to be something from another ending.
It's the worst when they drop like a really obvious hint in there. It's like, oh, there's something that you missed. Then you play the damn thing through again. It's like, there was nothing you missed. Like, fuck you if you do that, you know?
Oh, yeah. No, so I was furious because I played the game a second time all the way through just to make sure that I got the right ending for the video series. And it was like, F it, I'm done. I don't even care anymore. So I'm very salty about that game.
Yeah, I can certainly understand that. But at the end of the day, the stuff that Ubisoft releases usually has problems on launch, whether it be as a result of Uplay or whether it just goes it's a bug. And lately, of course, they've been going on about this whole, we're focused more on the PC gaming front now. You know, this is like the 5th time they've said this, by the way. Like, we're really going to make good on this. But they've moved all of their PC porting over to Ubisoft Kiev, who is an outsourced studio that has done a bunch of ports, most of which have not been good. So, like, what are you doing? What? Oh, no. Oh, dear. So, I'm not holding out a huge amount of hope for things like Far Cry 4 and Unity because I don't know what the PC port's going to end up being like.
I am.
Stop! Why would you trust Ubisoft? Why?
Because I hope against hope.
Don't! Hope is the first step on the road to disappointment.
I spent an hour and a half yesterday cheering for a fish named Aquarius to beat another fish named Robert the Bruce in Street Fighter on Twitch, okay? So, poor Aquarius got his ass kicked over and over again. And I was like, you can do it, Aqua. I think you won once in an hour and a half. It was That's where I'm at right now.
My favorite moments with Fish Plays Pokemon, I love when the fish just like floats at the top and the chat freaks out like, did he die? It's my absolute number one favorite thing.
Yes, I look at that stream like, okay, well, it's a very nice idea. It is absolutely boring in every possible way to watch. So no.
Fish Plays Street Fighter 2 is amazing.
Okay, Fish Plays Street Fighter 2 I could see actually working. I had no idea that was happening. That makes a lot more sense.
It's two fish.
The tank is laid out like a grid with all the buttons in the area.
Of course, yeah.
And the two fish swim around and they fight. I swear to God, some of them are the most incredible matches. Some of them are really boring. Like they just stand in the corner and back away from each other. But some of them are like, it's like they're doing throws and tosses just because they're swimming. I was like, oh, this is the coolest thing. That's entertaining.
If that hasn't been integrated into Salty Bet yet, it needs to be. Like that's the resurgence of Salty Bet right there. Be absolutely happy with that one.
Man, Aqua was my hero. I was like, go Aqua, but he kept picking Chun-Li. Aqua, stop picking Chun-Li, because Robert the Bruce is always doing Dulcie, but just like going across the map. I was like, God damn it! It was great.
Yeah, my game at Gamescom where I was like, I'm gonna give this a shot, and I'm gonna harden my heart, and I'm just not gonna care. Is that everybody kept saying that people would be able to play The Sims at Gamescom, and I was like, fine, I'll go play it. They didn't let you play The Sims.
Well, apparently it's a good job that they didn't. So there's a few things that's going on with The Sims 4 right now. There's a list of like 87 or so features that are apparently missing from it that were promised.
Gone.
And they're not sending review code to anybody until release day. That is a red flag.
What a bad sign.
Yeah. That is a very big red flag when a company like EA does that. So that indicates they're either working on this thing up until the last minute because it's a broken piece of shit, or they are really trying to maximize pre-orders before this thing comes out. So if you pre-order Sims 4, you get everything you deserve. So just know that. You should not be doing that at all.
But Obama's in it.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
That was my absolute favorite part of that trailer. It's like, I'm definitely not Obama, but I'm the Obama character. I was like, what is happening right now?
Fantastic. It makes perfect sense. A disappointing president and a disappointing game.
Zing.
Sorry.
Take that.
Take that, Democratic Party. And also Republicans, you suck as well. In fact, you're all fucking idiots.
Welcome to America, TV. It sounds like you're enjoying it here.
Yes. I rapidly realized what's going on with politics over here, which is not a whole fucking lot. But, oh man. You know what? So, I've been playing mostly kind of board games and card games lately. Mostly because Steam is full of shit right now. Over the last couple of days, some stuff's come out that I'm interested in, like Shadowgate. I started playing that. It's a remake of, I think, an NES title, which was like a mixture of it was sort of like a first-person RPG
you hear
on the
that,
NES.
By the way?
No.
Not at all.
Oh, amazing. Okay, cool.
Okay,
There's a jackhammer outside.
It's not really bothering me. But
okay, cool.
So Shadowgate was this NES game, from what I can tell anyway. I never played it previous to this. And it was a 1987 point-and-click adventure game. And it came out on... Actually, it was not on the NES at all. I'm a complete liar. It actually came out on the Apple Mac. That was the... it was released on NES. Okay, it was ported to NES from the Macintosh, which is a very weird thing to have happen. But it had, it was kind of first-person point-and-click, RPG-esque kind of thing. And they did a remake on Steam of this thing. They did a Kickstarter for it. And they were able to... They scraped by, and the game has now been released. And I played a bit of it. It's a bit weird, because it's a remake of an old, really, really old game where the UI was just terrible. And the UI is still kind of terrible. There's a lot of clicking. Like, if you want to use a key on a door, you've got to open your inventory, click the key, close the inventory, click open, and click on the door. Yeah? Which is a bit fiddly. And there's a bunch of other things which are kind of fiddly in that as well. But the concept is very interesting, because you don't really... If you remember Legend of Grimrock, it's nothing like that. But it's interesting to see the old principle of, here's how we did first person back in the day when that was almost impossible, kind of translated to a modern game, and see whether or not it actually works. So I'm working my way into it. It seems like it might be a bit puzzle heavy, so that might be a problem. But... It's this weird kind of RPG point-and-click kind of fantasy mix. And they've got a good voice actor in it as well. I don't know who's doing the voice acting, but it sounds like the guy who did Trine. I might be wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I might be wrong. That voice. But it is possible. I don't. Let's see. Shadowgate voice cast. Is it that guy? I'm trying to find it. Oh, see if there's actually any information. Nope. I actually don't know who's voice acting it at the moment, but all I know is the narrator is very good, and he sounds like the guy from Trine. He may be somebody else though. So yeah.
If you are down with point and click games and things like that, there is at Gamescom I saw 2 really good ones that I was like, oh, I want these so badly, but I guess they don't come out till next year. One is called The Devil's Men. I wrote it down, and the other one's called Silence 2. And The Devil's Men is I think the title's misleading because the 2 main characters are women, but I was like, this is great because one of them is like the second in command of a gang, and the other is like a peg-leg detective. Okay. I was like, oh, I love this concept. And
do you get to play them both?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That was the shit that you could pull in Fahrenheit that was really good before it went insane.
Yeah,
and
they
then,
did that in Ark the Lab, too.
And you play them both, but then they interact with each other, and the choices you make change the game. There are multiple endings. And so, and what I got to do, there was a moment where the thief girl, even though she's friends with this other girl, the detective girl is staying at this family's house, and she's like boarding there. And something is in the basement, but the basement's locked. And so you have the options of either finding a way to get in, bribing someone to get in, or just breaking in the door. And if you break in, the people who live there are like, who the hell broke into our door? Well, obviously it's the new girl we just had board up here. So it will like influence the relationship with this detective. So everything you do, and it looks like all the environments are 3D. So the characters walk around things and through things and under things. And I was like, this is a gorgeous ass game. It was really impressive. And then cool. Silence 2 was, I guess it's the sequel to a game that I never played, but it is, you play as, in this one, as a boy and a girl, and the girl has like this little wormy buddy. And again, it's point and click, but everything you do affects everything that the other character does. So they're both there at different times in the story, but if you do one thing and one thing, it will affect the other character's actions. So it's like a point and click, but everything sort of relates to it. So the guy will open up these plants that make everyone get high in the room, but the girl can't go in there because she's this little kid. So you have to everything has to change as you go through. It's really cool. I was like, I love these concept games of point and clicks that aren't just like, put the thing in the lock and now you do this. I was like, these are great. And I was literally like, where do I pay money to play this now? And they're like 2015. I was like, all right, thanks, guys. Thanks.
Yep. Well, apparently, Devil's Men is actually by Daedalic, who have a very, very good track record. So I imagine that's probably going to end up being pretty good.
It looks good. It looks cool.
Yeah. So I was really impressed by Devil's Men. I think they did a really great job, and Silence 2 looked great. So I was thrilled. I was thrilled by those 2. I was like, yes, I want that so badly. So
when I typed in The Devil's Men, the first thing that I got was a movie called Land of the Minotaur.
What?
Which is why I laughed, because the movie, I guess, originally was called The Devil's Men, and then they changed it to The Land of the Minotaur.
Land of the Minotaur. That is the worst search engine.
Oh my god. Thanks,
Google. Bing? Were you on Bing? All right.
Yeah, there's very little about it right now. Even on the Daedalic channel, there's only one video, and that's not of the actual game itself. So there's not much that we really know about that one at the moment, but it could be interesting. We'll see.
It looked really cool. Yeah, I was really impressed by that. I was like, all right, cool. What? Oh, man, there's so many games I saw that I got to play. The more I see of the new Civilization game, the more I like it. I think it looks really fun. I love the idea of it being in space. I love that the more you put points in different things, you become either like robotic or like more alien. Or one group's like, we are the pure humans, right? And it changes. No matter what group you are, you will change. I was like, this is great. So,
well, I'm looking forward to it on the basis that it might be at least vaguely as good as Alpha Centauri. Don't know.
I don't know.
Certainly possible.
I don't know if it'll be that, but it looks interesting. I mean, it looks fun. It doesn't look any worse than Civ 5, so I think that says something.
It is worth noting, by the way, that Civ 5 on launch was really bad. And to be honest, it was the worst Civ game until the first expansion came out. So be a bit wary if, because obviously now Civ 5 is really good, now that it's had, like, 2 good expansions and a lot of patches, but on launch, Civ 5 was a disaster. So you might want to hold back on that just a little bit until people have actually had a good chance to get to grips with it.
Oh, the very last. I don't know if it was because I had a lot of drink at the time. I'm not sure. The very last thing I saw at Gamescom, the very last game I got to see a playthrough demo for was like 7 p.m. on the last day, and it was or I think Saturday because I didn't go on whatever the last day whatever. It was the very last one I went to, and it was for a game called Hell Raid, which is basically, it seems very Skyrim-y.
Oh, yes, that's Techland's thing, isn't it? It's the first-person dungeon crawler thingy.
I don't know if it was because I was, like, all day people kept giving me beer because it was, like, the last day. But by the time I got there, I never had more fun in a demo in my entire life. Like, the weapons you would use, the skeletons would just explode in different directions, and the monsters would come after you, like this little demon guy came after, and then when they're like, oh, also on launch it's going to be multiplayer, I was like, I'm in. This game, I'm going to buy it. And I don't remember anything about the actual game except for when you killed guys, it looked awesome. And I was like, I'm pretty much sold. I can't, there are a million other games that are probably much better, but it was just the moment in time that I played it was just like, this is the thing I needed at the end of a week of walking around this damn convention center with all these kids I wanted to knock around in the skull. Like, this is it. I had a great time. I was like, yeah. So yeah, it was me and like one other dude, and it was like the very last thing, and everyone was clearing out. All the people were like packing up boxes, computers were being moved out, and they're like, come on in, let's play. I was like, I love you guys. Let's do this.
Yeah. It sounds like a really cool modern version of Hexen, which is what is getting me in a big way. It's like, that sounds awesome. We'll see. It's Techland. Techland are dodgy at the best of times. Like, these are the same guys that did Dead Island and did games like Chrome and things like that, which...
Right.
But it is looking good. I will give them credit for that. And they did make Call of Juarez Gunslinger, which is really fucking good. So we'll see.
I still haven't played that. I remember when that first came out, and I was like, "This looks great," and then I just didn't play it.
Really good. They're also making Dying Light at the moment.
Dying Light, got to play that. But the only thing they let us play, they let us play the multiplayer, which felt very much like Dead Island. Multiplayer, it felt a lot like Dead Island. But the thing that I thought was really cool was I would call it the asshole component, where if it's nighttime in your game, a friend or maybe anyone on the internet, I don't know, can just join as a zombie and stalk and kill you.
Oh, that's awesome. I
was like, that is... And so they had one of the devs basically come on, and they become a zombie that the only way you can stop them is shining ultraviolet light on them. You can't, like, because they're so fast, you have to shine ultraviolet light so it stops them, and they go like, and then you can kill them. Mm-hmm. But you can't get them and so basically it's a super zombie and your friend can just murder you while you're playing the game. I was like, that's douchey. And
that's the first thing I'm turning off.
Yeah, like unless you turn it off, they don't even have to ask for permission. It's just like, someone's entering your game, you're gonna die.
So it's a good old, Dark Souls invasion mechanic that's being put into now everything, apparently.
Yes. And I was like, that's fun, but gameplay, again, all these zombie games are starting to slowly feel the same. I like Dying Light's time mechanic. I like that during the day you can get a lot of stuff done, and at night you're effed if you don't run around because zombies become super. I like that, but again, all the zombie games are starting to slowly blend together, and it's like, oh lord. But one thing that surprised me, and I think it shouldn't have, but I know it's the reason that I'll sell a lot of copies, is the new Borderlands game. Yeah. It's Borderlands. It's absolutely Borderlands.
The pre-sequel? Yeah.
Yeah. But I got to play as Claptrap.
They should just call it the quest for more money at this point.
I played as Claptrap, and I'm not going to lie, it was a lot of fun. Claptrap as a character, half of his abilities don't work or backfire. Most of his super powered one randomly generates from a grid of things, and it's malware, so it randomly generates things that it can either be really good or murder your team, right? I was like, oh no. And it's one of his special abilities that you can get when he's the buffer of the team or healer is a high five, and he does a high five. And if everyone high fives him, everyone on the team gets a power buff. But if no one high fives him, he gets like a screw you guys buff, and only he gets like a really powerful buff, and then he can just run around and start murdering people. And I was like, you guys are silly gooses, is what you are. It's actually it was really fun. I was like, here's the thing. It's still the same game.
Yes, it's fucking identical.
You added the wild card factor. Well, now you have a character who can purposefully ruin things for people. And I was like,
that's the only way that they could have done Claptrap, you know? Yeah. So many people were speculating, how is Claptrap going to be useful to the team? And the answer is sometimes he is.
Yeah. Sometimes he's useful, and one of his abilities is he turns into a cannon that or a pirate ship that shoots off cannons to the 1812 Overture. It makes no sense. It's like, what is even happening in this game? It's that kind of thing right now. It's like, okay, sure.
It's yet more wacky super monkey joy humor that's Borderlands is kind of known for at this point.
A+, 10 out of 10s from this guy.
Yeah, it ended up being like top of the pre-order list yesterday. You guys, what are you doing? Like, just no. But you can save 10% if you own the previous one. Great, $5 off this $60 game, which is the same as the last one.
Yeah.
The one thing that the one game that I think really stood out to me, it wasn't a AAA or anything. It was, I got called to, it was like a hotel room. You know, like every once in a while you go to like an interview and they're like, we're in a hotel. It's a bunch of guys who I guess work for a studio, but are making this game, and they're like, I don't know what it is, but it's a game called Project Totem.
Okay.
And I guess that's just like the temp name, and it's like a platforming puzzle game, but you're these little totems, and you control, like, you know, you have to, each color has different things, but you're doing like the top and the bottom of the screen at the same time, and it's really simple and really not like that, like visually like, oh, this is stunning. But it was the most fun I had in an hour the entire time.
I just went on their website, and they have a kind of GIF showing the game. I can actually show it here, and you control two totems at the same time,
right?
And it's actually kind of almost to like a 2D Brothers-esque kind of thing going on there, where one guy will boost up the other guy.
If you play multiplayer, if you play with someone else, there are 4 totems. So each of you have 2, and you have to like bounce and jump and stack the totems in different ways to make through the game. And it was really fun, and it was so simple that I was like, I can't even describe to you why it was fun, but I enjoyed it more than anything else there. I was like, it was a real treat. I was like, good job, guys. I had a blast. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was the way you could die and the like screwing up, but it was one of those things where you wanted to keep going because it wasn't too punishing. Yeah, I was like, all right, great. I got to see Blood Bowl 2. Blood Bowl 2 is basically prettier Blood Bowl 1.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't believe the rules have been updated, have they? Like, if I recall correctly, Chaos Edition is still current.
It's the same.
And they took out some of the races, but they said they'd be back later.
Yeah, and they'll sell them to us, yes.
His DLC.
And I played a game called Stixx, which is basically you play as a goblin creature, a goblin assassin rogue, and you sneak around. Like, I don't know what the hell was going on with the story, but the gameplay was fun. It's very super duper hard, though. Like, it's, if you're not sneaking, you're dead kind of hard. And I was like, oh, this is something that a lot of people who wanted with Thief would really enjoy, because you can murder people and have fun. And if you get caught, you can still fight them, but you have to parry them until you can get behind them and like kill them. And so I was like, oh. So, and that was cool. Shadow of Mordor, besides the fact that it looks like when you fight, you're playing Arkham, and when you jump, you're playing Assassin's Creed. Mm. The cool things in there, like the Nemesis system, where you can, like, if guys kill you in the game, like, they get upgraded, they get promoted to bosses and things, and so you can hunt them, and you can turn them to your side and create armies and stuff, and, you know, the story bits include things about, like, the creation of the ring and Golem, and I was like, this looks pretty cool. It may not be the most compelling gameplay, but story-wise and what you can do actually in the game, I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. So I'm hoping at PAX I get a chance to actually play it, because everything I've seen is just some dude playing it so far, and I was like, I'd really like to play it. That'd be great. Thanks. And then I got to play Mortal Kombat X, which was fantastic.
Mortal Kombat, yeah.
Mortal Kombat X was just, It looks beautiful. It plays very fluidly. Like it's not.
Does it have the same amount of weight? Because the thing about, like, if I were to compare Mortal Kombat to, say, Street Fighter, I always think, Street Fighter feels a bit more responsive, a bit faster, a bit snappier, but Mortal Kombat has this real weight to every attack. Just like the way that they do the animations, and obviously the fact that it's completely over the top in terms of the gore and things like that. It really does feel pretty damn good. Is that how Mortal Kombat X feels?
Yeah, and the addition of the things from the DC game, I can't remember the damn name of it now, where you can use
the interactive environments.
Yeah, you can use almost everything in the environment to fight is really cool too. And there was one map where I played I must have been there for like 30 minutes playing with just different people, and there's one map where it's a dock, and the background is like a shipwreck, and all the trash from the ship is like splashing up on the dock, and even dead bodies. And I was like, they're glowing. Can you use those dead bodies? Like, yeah. If one pops up next to you, you can use it to hit people and stuff.
What
I was like,
amazing.
This is the coolest. And so, like, all the characters are great. One of the characters, and this is my favorite, one of the characters that they introduced, I had no clues in the game, but I'm happy to hear now, is Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade's daughter. What? So
amazing.
I'm happy for those two. I'm glad they got it together.
Desperate enough.
Right? And so that was cool. But then they introduced like a new like insect lady who's awesome. And they have basically
they've
Master
really
Blaster.
Changed quite a lot of the lineup. Like they've put because they've moved the timeline along, and it's like, here's the new Lord of the Outworld, and he's like the god of the sun and shit like that. And there's that. I don't know if you played that character or saw it, the coolest one. Almost reminds me of Alchemist from Dota 2 or Nunu from League of Legends, where it's a little girl riding like an ogre,
yes.
and they both kind of fight together. Sounds fantastic.
But here's the thing. The big guy uses the little girl as a weapon.
Yes.
So it's great. And because each of them has like different, like one of three different sets. So like they've shown it off a lot of times where, for example,
they have 3 different configurations where it's like, oh, well, this one, I saw Raiden's, it's like, with this one you can make lightning traps, or with this one you have more teleport attacks. So it's combat styles, basically.
And so I played a lot as the insect chick. And so like one of the ones I loved was she had a swarm attack. And if you can trap someone in the swarm, they just go like, ah, and then you can just beat the crap out of them. And I was like, that is way overpowered. Because the minute you get them stuck, that's like a good minute. You're just like, bop, 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 you're dead. So I was like, oh, this is cool.
Does she look like an insect, or is she a hot lady who uses insects?
Here's the thing. She's a hot lady who uses insects, but when she attacks, like shit in her opens up and like her so she's
amazing.
Her shell is a hot lady, but the rest of her is like this ugly ass like shit comes out of her and things. It's like, oh, this is cool.
Right.
A lot of it is really well put together. I was really impressed. I can't really say anything bad about it. I was like, you guys came to play this time. Like, all right. So we'll see. I hope the other characters they reveal are just as, creative and fun. And these aren't like the big ones. And the rest are like, and now Noob Sabat and Reptile again. And that other guy who looks similar. Smoke. Right? Like all the other shitty ones.
Well, as people pointed out in MK9, which this is not really a spoiler because MK9 actually redoes the storyline from the other Mortal Kombat games. Pretty much like everyone of value fucking dies at one point. And really that doesn't really matter in Mortal Kombat because, he's died, but he's back to life again, now he's dead again, now he's a zombie, but now he's a dead zombie. Right. So that doesn't even matter, but they seem intent on saying, yeah, we're going to move this along, we're going to put new characters in it. It's not like they hadn't done it before. Outside of 3 added insane numbers of characters to the game that barely had backstory. And then there were all the PlayStation 1 titles and a couple of PlayStation 2 games, things like Deception, Armageddon. But before that, there was like Mortal Kombat Gold, and there was a couple of others whose name escapes me that had all sorts of characters that you've never seen again. So it's there's nothing unusual really about them refreshing the character lineup. As long as it's got some of the old favorites in there, which they do.
But I like that it's very obvious that they moved the universe ahead.
What the fuck are you doing, Brooke? What?
I muted myself because the jackhammer got really loud, but then I tried to contribute and I realized I was muted, so I...
Whoops.
I was going to say that it's cool that they moved the universe ahead. So you have the daughter of 2 of the characters and it's in the future. And I was like, good. good. Let's get some new fresh blood in there. And the new ones they've added are pretty awesome. So I have no complaints so far. So
I want like
happens.
Old man Scorpion one day. I just want him to be
he's a fire skull though.
He's probably back. Like I would imagine they'll put him back in. Like all of the kind of immortal characters. Like, but you probably won't see. I don't know. They might come up with a reason to.
Now,
show
Old Man Sub-Zero would work. Because
Old Man Sub-Zero, and he still like has that battle, that emotional battle with Scorpion, and Scorpion's like, "You're an old man now."
They're both definitely in it because when they showed the reveal cinematic, it was
no, they're in it.
Right?
They're in it.
Yeah,
they're both the same. That they're updated models of the way they looked, but all their like their special things. So if Scorpion has like shoots fire, his mask is red or his gloves. So like every time you can tell what the person is. But yeah, they're both in it. And they both play very similar to how they always have. So
there was the reveal for Kano, and I noticed that like kind of his cybernetic upgrade heart thing changes color depending on what fighting style he's using, which I
don't know if it's a homage to the end of Mass Effect, but I believe it's the exact same colors as the three
red,
endings.
Green, and blue, isn't it?
It is, and that's the only change. The thing is on all of his outfit. That's the only change to it, which I was like.
That seems purposeful to me.
That's kind of funny if that's the case. Mm-hmm. So I was like, that's cool. But all the different things they did. And then, of course, at the end of the like presentation before you could go play, they were like, and now a minute and a half of just violence. And it was all the current in-game finish him moves, like finish him
fatalities.
Holy shit. They were just...
They're doing a lot more of, I'm going to punch a hole in you, then look through it. Kind of second person weirdness now.
Oh no, there's one where a guy gets a hole blown in his chest, his heart falls down through and just dangles, and then he like gets his head ripped out. Like it is super. I was like, this is. There was a girl in the front row who I think she was from some foreign news agency. And the look on her face at the end was the best. And
well, 5 more years of games being blamed for murders again. Thanks, Mortal Kombat.
Here's the thing. At the end, she literally was like, that was so cool. I was like, yay.
Okay, there we go. Now we understand. Amazing. It's just cheesy. It's not real. That's good.
Yeah. It was great. I was like, yes, go team. So that was a lot of fun. I mean, there's a bunch, like, there's a World War I FPS game that I played, Verdun. That was cool, but it's you're playing World War I.
That's a multiplayer title, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like the battles are you're fighting in trenches, and so you have to run across. But it's you take trench by trench, and it looked very cool. I love the concept.
Yeah.
There's a lot of games that I saw. Like there was a week of games. There were so many damn games there that I saw so many that were just like, these are. And here's the thing that really saddened me. 90% of the games I saw are on Steam already. And I was like, when does this game come out? Oh, it's already on Steam. But I've never heard of it because it just was flooded over by other things. And I was like, this game is great.
It's fucking annoying as shit to see that.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I learned. And everyone was really eager to like show off their games. They were so happy. And they were like, yeah, please come look at it. And the reason why is because they get no exposure.
Yeah, how would you get it right now? Like, if you're on PC, it's a pretty bad time for you, honestly. It's a real mess. Like, you're competing with early access games. That's going to be the worst thing. Like, you spend 2 years or 3 years, like, working on a game. You finish it. It's complete. It's like, yeah, fantastic. I've got it done. I invested 3 years of my damn life in this, probably eating beans on toast. Like, wife left me. I live in a box with my iMac or whatever. That would be a bit weird, but, And you release this game, and then you look at the top sellers as, like, fucking DayZ, Rust, fucking all this other Space Engineers, all this other shit. Like, they're not even finished! Fuck you! Like, I mean, that's got to be the way you think, surely, at that point. That's got to be the worst feeling in the world. That people are more willing to throw a bunch of money at something that's not even close to being done yet, as opposed to this game I spent 3 years of my life working on. And now?
Right.
It's gotta feel awful.
I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why so many of them are starting to come to us instead. Rather than going to, like, common journalism, they're kind of coming more to us and sending us emails and being like, just play it. I don't need you to just play it. That's all I want,
this term that I don't necessarily like too much because Tumblr uses it a lot called signal boosting, but like it does make a degree of sense when it comes to YouTube, because outside of that, these companies often don't have much marketing budget, and even if they do, it's hard to get the message across without really spending a lot of money to do it. So they're actually becoming reliant on YouTubers to do that stuff, because who the fuck else will? Less people are reading gaming news sites than ever. It's dropping. So where else is relevant? Nobody reads fucking magazines anymore. The only magazine people read is Game Informer, because they gave that out for free at GameStops, and they only cover console for the most part. So, what do you expect? Like, YouTube is quite literally the only place at this point.
The thing that I think that I notice, especially at like seeing a lot of the games journalists run around at Gamescom, is everyone is currently busy following trends, not trying to get out in front of trends. New ones.
Yeah.
So when you see like articles on places like Kotaku and stuff, it's very like, guys, we're in on that meme that was started on another website. We get it now too.
Lol.
And it's like, no, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. I don't want to see 50 Pokemon that would look better as anime characters. What I want to see is about a game that might or might not be good. There's nothing that would ever
look better as an anime character. Nothing in the universe.
And I'm just like, guys, come on. And that's, I mean, there was a game called Back to Bed that I loved. And I think that Jared and I that's probably going to be this week's green light. It's really fun. It's a puzzle game, but it's like Salvador Dali looking weird puzzle game. And I was like, it's visually fun to look. This is a really fun game. And it's things like that where I'm just like, why? Like, none of this exists in the world of gaming. It's like someone made a game. Oh, it's AAA. That's what we'll cover.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit difficult. Like, it's got to the point where there's now kind of a few games coming out on early access that I'm really interested in. I think there's one called Ziggurat that Jim Sterling looked at, and it kind of looks like Heretic Hexen, but it's sort of like a first-person roguelite, but it seems like the inventory system and the magic system is fully functional, and it looks good, and it's procedurally generated. I'm like, oh, okay. And there's another one that the guys that made the remake of Giana Sisters are making. I think it was Black Forest Games. It's called Diesel Stürmers.
Yeah.
It seems like a sort of diesel punk, side-scrolling kind of arena brawler of some sort, and it looks great, like amazing art style and everything. There's all sorts of Endless Legend is looking pretty good right now. Dungeon of the Endless also looking pretty good right now. It's getting to the point, I think, where this is what I was trying to kind of think about with my viewers earlier. Is like, should I be digging back into early access, especially with the amount of tat that's being released on Steam at the moment, and try to find the good ones,
I mean, that's literally, it's my goal in life. There is a game called Mind Path to Thalamus that I think it would be one of those games that
the missus recommended that one to me, actually. I feel like it's a game where the first 5 minutes you would be like, oh no, this is going to end up like just a walk, like we're walking through beautiful stuff. Yeah.
It looks gorgeous. And the first 5 minutes is like very like, oh shit, things are happening. And then it becomes sort of like calm and mellow. And it does feel like a walking simulator at first. But then suddenly it opens up into this beautiful world. It's like gorgeous. And it's all in this dude's mind, ? But you're using everything in the world. So you're using night and dark and shadow and light, and you're using dust, and you're using mirrors and reflections to solve puzzles. And one of the concepts is time. And so, in one of the puzzles that we did on the Greenlight episode was there's these ancient pillars and like steps and staircases. You have to move these mirrors to shine light to open up a gate. The thing is, the steps that exist currently are like, you can walk up and you'll just fall through, and you're like, what the hell? And it took me a minute to realize that if you look in the very shallow water on the ground, you see the reflection of what it used to look like in the past, and you need to use those steps and staircases to get across instead of the ones that you're on then. So the puzzle is using the reflection of the water to make your way through it. And I was like, this game is the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen. It's beautiful. The problem, what pissed me off, was that a lot of people commenting on it were like, oh, I hate the dialogue. It's so like, very pretentious and stuff. And I was like, but it's this guy's vision. This is what he wanted from the game. And I feel bad that that one thing people are just like, sucks.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's if it does have like pretentious dialogue, then that does put a lot of people off, particularly since we have like a movement of games of art and things like that, and people vehemently defending things like Mountain and doing so in a really snotty way as well. I think it was a Polygon writer that like took a shot at me because I said Mountain isn't a game, and it's like, oh no, you just don't get it. I'm like, no, it's not.
That's my favorite response. It's like, no, you need to explain to me why that's a game, not just say you don't understand. You're not intellectually high enough to really grasp what we're trying to do.
If you were actually intellectually high enough to get any of this, you wouldn't be working for a fucking video game blog, you know? So don't even start with that. And if I was smarter, I wouldn't be working for fucking YouTube. Whatever the case, I mean, I've got this nice little set of rules that I put together because I tried to define what a game was, and I came up with a good solid set of rules that so far has not proved me wrong, which is the idea that you can't be a game unless you have an express or implied failure state. Because I first went out and I'm like, right, well, it's got to be a game if it presents some sort of challenge. But that's not actually true, you know? And people are going to snipe at you and say, oh, well, you know, but this game's easy, so it doesn't provide a challenge. Because, you know, they don't really see what that means. So, like, well, you know, what's the essence of a challenge? Well, a challenge you can succeed or fail in some way. So, in theory, it seems like to be a game, you have to have an implied or express failure state. Now, that doesn't just mean game over. That means you've got to be able to do something in a game which can either succeed or fail. It's like, people said, oh, the Gone Home isn't a game. It actually is. It's very light on gameplay elements, but it does actually have an objective of some description, yeah? You can actually kind of succeed or fail to get to the end of it. Whereas, really, with something like Dear Esther, or certainly Mountain, where there is no express or implied failure state, you can't really treat it as a video game at all, because the basic elements of what a game is are not there. And you know that's fine. But I like accuracy when it comes to describing things to people, especially consumers. Like, consumers should be informed about what they're buying. And if you want to do these kind of digital art pieces, fantastic. Let's have a separate category on Steam for them. Let's not put them in the RPG category, which is where Mountain is. You know, let's not do that and let's not call them games. Let's be accurate about what they are. And cool, of course they can exist, but let's call them what they are. That seems reasonable, right? But if you want a depressing stat, by the way, there's currently only 9 people playing Mind Path to Thalamus, and the average players for that game is 15.
No.
You know, yeah, another example of, you know, is it their fault that they did that? Can we blame the developer for that specifically, or is it just the fact that Steam is a mess right now? Is it because not enough sites picked up on it?
And here's and so, like, after we made that video, the developer, because a lot of the comments were like, oh, you know, the dialogue's pretentious, it's beautiful, but dialogue's pretentious. The developer's like, I will go back, like I'm making it my goal to go back and rewrite everything and redo the voice acting and all that just to make it something that people will want to play. And I was like, good on you, but I hate making, you know, I hate that idea that a developer thinks like I have my vision, I now have to change it. Yeah, that always sits wrong with me. And I was like, but in a world where you're competing with 12 billion other titles, most of which are pretty garbagey, that's what you got to do. And I was like, all right, good luck to you, man.
And I guess that's where, I have no idea how much he had the game play tested, but I guess that's one of the benefits of making sure that a lot of people, you know, take a look at your game before you release it and like getting feedback. But who knows how honest the feedback will get depending on the group of people that, you know, play it. And I don't know.
Speaking of a game that TB needs to play, Tormentum, when that comes out, TB, play that shit. It is the most metal game that ever. It's a point and click game.
Sounds good already.
It's a point and click game called Tormentum.
Tormentum Dark Sorrow, is that it?
I think so. I think it just
Indiegogo for this thing.
Yeah. They succeeded. I think they're doing fine, but it is literally the most metal game that ever existed.
This is in a universe where this isn't fucking. Amazing. This is a fucking puzzle game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This isn't metal. Puzzles aren't metal. What the fuck's wrong with you? In a world where Brutal Legend exists, you think this is the most metal thing ever.
It is. Look at the graphics, man.
Awesome. I could appreciate some of the art style, definitely. You know, we start and there's a Led Zeppelin up there. There's a fucking castle. Fire rains from the sky in a Man of War fashion. That's cool.
A huge fucking train.
That's more fire. All right. I don't know what that is. It's got feathers on it, but there's explosions. All right. So currently metal. Happy with that. That looks like the logo for I wouldn't say a black metal band, more of a kind of prog dark. Trapped in a world, is it reality? Blah blah blah. And then there's that face, and then puzzles and gears. It's like, oh, this looks amazing. Oh, you're sliding blocks.
But you get like the pieces for the puzzles and gear, like from a crow eating an eye, and you get like there's one level where you have to put a heart in a giant statue that's like 8 skeleton angels with like faces that when you put in their eyes go
The art style is not enough to not make this just a stupid puzzle game, though. I'm sorry,
I'm downloading the demo right now.
Oh, dude, you will enjoy that.
You will. It is so good.
It'll be my wheelhouse. I know it.
It's so good. It's like this game is the craziest looking game. It's a lot of fun. I had a blast. See, like there's that like angel thing, dude. And that's just the demo. I'm like, when this game gets made.
Considering Sacred 2 is literally Blind Guardian, the video game, I don't know about that. But there is certainly some nice art in there, there's no doubt. It definitely is not my thing.
All I need for this to be the perfect game for me is for the character that you play to, at the very end of the game, just cast back the hood, and it's just full-on anime face. That would be amazing.
You have ruined everything!
I want that game.
I don't.
Want that game. So, like, it's the long game for real. You just like play the whole thing and you're like, this is so metal. And then at the end, just shoujo bubbles.
This is a good time to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about more Gamescom, and I'll show you things that I got from Kickstarter. There's an idea.
What?
Yeah,
perfect.
My apologies.
Bless you.
Yes, thank you. We are the Co-optional Podcast. That's all we are anymore. We define our entire identity by this stupid show. And that's a very sad thing. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-optional Podcast. And we have
optional.
Not quite as good as the intro version, gotta admit.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing in the world, right? Absolutely. So, I got some stuff from Kickstarter a long time ago. I think it was about almost 2 years ago or whatever. I kickstarted something called Golem Arcana.
Oh, that's right.
It's by a company called Harebrained Schemes, who you should know because they made Shadowrun Returns, which was also a Kickstarter thing. So they decided after doing Shadowrun Returns, here's what we want to do. We want to do a digitally enhanced tabletop miniatures game. By which we mean, we've got this cool little thing, which is this kind of giant stylus pen, which is Bluetooth, which scans parts of the board and parts of the model. And it does all of the dice rolling and shit kind of for you in the app, which is run off an iPad or an Android device or whatever. So it lets you play a fully kind of featured miniatures game, but it does all the bookkeeping and things like that. And it introduces some interesting ideas. The fact that they can actually hide things from both players in this app. So, like, you stumble on a piece of terrain and suddenly, oh shit, it's now lava, and all that kind of thing, and neither of the players know this. And they can also, like, balance the game digitally, and they track stats, and they change the game dynamically. Sounds really interesting, I thought. So I backed this whole thing. And I put in an option to get, like, the base game, and so this other, like, third faction, and an elite unit, and this giant fucking Colossus thing.
Dodger, are you hoping that what he got is awful, too? Because I'm hoping that what he got is awful.
I can't wait. I can't wait. It sounds like a cool idea.
Sounds like a great idea, right?
Preface this next part with that.
Sounds like an awesome idea. The problem is, these miniatures came pre-painted, yeah? And I've been doing pre-painted miniature stuff for a while. They all look like... These, I mean, I've showed you these before, like the fucking TIE Defender for the X-Wing miniatures game. Fucking lovely model. Really nicely detailed. Great paint job. Pretty much all the paint jobs, with maybe one or two exceptions for the X-Wings miniatures game. Very, very good. To the point where I've had no desire to repaint them or anything. Unfortunately, the paint jobs for Golem Arcana, not so good. So this is the I think, Jagari Colossus, which is the fucking biggest miniature in the game, right? 120mm miniature, I believe. And, well, you can't see it too well on these. I actually have some high-resolution shots I'm going to upload later, but the paint job is really pretty shitty.
Is it? Oh,
yeah,
man.
I mean, you know, the model kind of looks pretty good, but if you look, like, at the front there, it's like, oh, that doesn't look particularly good, does it? Like, the colors don't look right, especially compared to what they showed. There's not a lot of detail on it. And a lot of models are like this. This one in particular, I found it was very, very disappointing. It's like part of the elite unit. I thought, oh, golden cream, that sounds like or kind of golden marble. That sounds
golden cream.
I think a really good combination. It is not a good-looking model, like, I'm afraid. And like I say, webcam is a pretty bad place to show these. I will have high-resolution shots on my 7D available later. But yeah, I was pretty disappointed with the paint job, frankly, on these. Especially compared... I know it's a Kickstarted effort, so, Fantasy Flight's a big company. They're getting even bigger this year after they announced so much cool shit at Gen Con this year. But the quality on those miniatures is not particularly good. That said, if you can get past that, the game seems really interesting. If you notice around the edge here, you can probably just see it, there's little bits of writing around it. Each of these sections of the miniature's base has a code in it, which you scan with the stylus. So it's like, I want to use Death Blow on this character. So I get the stylus, Death Blow, meh, like that, yeah? And then the app shows that, and it also keeps track of where everything is, calculates the stuff, and that's like, well, here's the percentage hit chance, this is what it's going to do, do you want to continue doing this? Which I think is a pretty fucking great idea, all things considered. The game barely has a manual. I own a lot of board games and card games now, because I'm really getting into that in a huge way, and the reason why I'm getting into it is because board games have the 4 things that I really enjoy, yeah? The first one is board games are almost purely focused on mechanics, which I fucking love, yeah? They don't beat around the bush. They're like, here are the game mechanics, and I enjoy good game mechanics. Secondly, they're based a lot around interesting theme. And there's some crazy fucking board games. One of the best board games that's currently available, according to some people, is called Splendor. And this is a game about making jewelry. Yeah? And another one that just came out is called Caverna, the Cave Farmers. It's about a bunch of dwarves farming. Apparently fucking brilliant experience. There's all sorts of really, really fantastic board game themes. And then, of course, the third and fourth elements are, most of these games are really competitive, and they're focused on a competitive element, which I love. And the fourth is the social experience. Jesse, you've played Shadows over Camelot with me, right? Fucking great. That was really fun. I enjoyed that a lot. And
I learned a lot about Husky that day.
Yes, you did. He is a lying piece of shit.
Husky's a liar.
Yeah, he's a lying piece of shit. And that was a wonderful experience. And I'm getting more and more of these board games. But the problem is, there's a lot of fucking rules to remember. Yeah? I've got like 20, 30 board games, whose rules I have not learned yet. And the good thing about Golem Arcana is that it has an actual tutorial on the iPad that you go through. And it teaches you the game as you go. And it keeps track of all the bullshit for you, so you can't make mistakes. So I dig the notion of it. I really do. And there's a few more board games that are coming out. They just announced the XCOM board game, which I'm pretty excited about. That uses an app on the iPad and Android, or you can run it on PC, that actually has a real-time element to it. Like, it's like, oh, you got to do this, but you've only got a few minutes to do it, and it randomly generates missions and shit for you, which I found really cool.
Okay, so, wait, can I double-check a thing with you?
Mm-hmm.
So, I've been imagining that this game is like a board style game, but it mostly takes place on a tablet.
Yes.
Or is there like
half
there's
and
an
half.
actual board, and then the tablet is what like deals all of the damage and calculates everything for you, and
pretty
it's
much,
like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's effectively what it is. You can't play it without the boards. Like, the tiles have codes embedded in them, the miniatures have codes embedded in them, which allows the tablet to keep track of everything. So it's like, this is here right now on the board. I know this because you scanned this, and so on and so forth. So it's some people have said, well, why didn't they just make it a fully featured iPad game then? Aren't you just really moving miniatures around? It's like, well, yeah, but you could say that about any board game, essentially. Yeah. You could translate them all. It's just a more fun experience if you're moving physical items around on a board, and it gives you a better perspective as well. You're moving around the table. It's like, here is everything here. It's better than playing it on a little iPad screen. So I have yet to play it. It seems like it's going to be very interesting. I'm looking forward to giving it a try. I'm going to play it with the missus, and hopefully it will end up being good. As I said, the miniature quality is, I'm not so fun. I'm not so fond of that. The painting just sucks. I guess we can probably strip the paint jobs and redo them, but I was a bit disappointed about that. So that's a shame. But outside of that,
That's a lot of work, is what I said.
Yeah, it is. I taught the parents who are over this week to visit Dominion.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I taught them how to play Dominion. Now, bear in mind, my dad is, I wouldn't say anti-game, he just doesn't enjoy anything. And I do mean anything in the world ever. But especially not games. So, getting him to play Dominion was a bit of a push there, but he played well. He ended up only 3 points below me, so he did pretty fucking well in his first game. That game is really easy to teach and get people into. Stupidly easy. I know Dodger's obviously played a ton of it. Jesse, you haven't touched it, right? Or
nope, I don't know what it is.
It's a deck builder. So it's like you start with a really, basically you are the lord of a kingdom, but your kingdom's pretty shit. Yeah. So you start with a handful of crappy estates and a little bit of copper. Yeah, that's it. That's your kingdom. You own nothing. So what you do is you use the cards that you have to add more cards to your deck. And every time your deck runs out, you reshuffle it, so your deck gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And you customize your deck with the cards that you can buy using your money, right? And eventually, the idea is to win by having the largest number of estates, owning the most land. But the catch is, the land isn't worth anything. Like, if you draw a land into your hand, you can't do shit with it, yeah? So you don't want to overdo it. You've got to balance how much of the point-scoring cards you get versus how many cards actually work and create and work well together. Because you've got to build up things like combos in order to get more actions in one turn. You want a lot of money, but if you have a lot of money and you can only do one buy in a turn, then a lot of that money ends up being wasted because you discard everything at the end. So you've got to get cards that allow more buys, but you don't want too many of that if you don't have enough money to use them, and so on and so forth. So the cool thing about that game is that there are millions of combinations of these card sets. Even the base set comes with like sets of these 10 cards, and you mix and match which ones you want in any given game. So every experience is different because you get new combos, you have to change your strategy. A lot of people really fucking like Dominion.
It's super fun.
Hell of a lot
and
of fun.
there are super janky client versions of them.
There is
on your PC that you can play.
Yeah, I played the online version.
None of them are good. They're kind of janky.
They're janky. I actually did a video on one of them, and it's like, yeah, I love Dominion. The client version is not brilliant, but it is a way to play it with other people, and it's affordable. So there is that. But yeah, Dominion is... I think I wouldn't say there's a backlash against Dominion at the moment, but a lot of people are saying, well, Dominion's theme is really weak. And it's like the game from a purely mechanical level is good, but there are games now that are a bit better in terms of theme that uses the same ideas. Like Star Realms is another one that I've been playing, which is
By
now...
theme, do you mean the theme of I'm building a city?
Yeah, but also kind of what the cards do. Like, it's... The cards are kind of... Outside of cards like maybe the Bureaucrat, which makes which is kind of good thematically, a lot of them are just, village. Okay, that's +1 draw and +2 actions. Why?
I gotcha.
It's just, that could be anything. That could be fucking anything. So I'm a bit, I don't know, I'm a bit worried about that being a thing. But I did play something called Star Realms, which is another deck building game designed by a couple of former Magic the Gathering champions. And it's a sci-fi deck building game. The cool thing about that is that you can attack people directly. So it's a bit more involved. So I kind of dig that. And it's also only $5 on PC, which is kind of great.
The last game I played was Super Fight. I'm good at Super Fight.
Which one? Do I know about Super Fight?
Super Fight it's a card game very similar to the complexity of Cards Against Humanity, in which it's literally you get 3 white and I think it's 3 black cards, but you're only allowed to pick one of each to start with, and then you pick cards as you go along. But and there's a red deck that's the vile, nasty things. But you're building superheroes, and you have them duke it out with each other, and you have to convince the other people there why your superhero is inherently better than theirs.
Oh, okay.
And so you end up with ridiculous combinations. But for some reason, I'm very good at convincing people until they decide that funny is better than real, which infuriates me. Like, I always have good ones, and I'm like, so yeah, no, there's no way any of you can be my superhero because of X, X, and X. And people are like, yeah, but mine's the Velociraptor with the wiener for hands. And everyone's like, ah, ha, ha, winner. I'm like, no!
Oh, Super Fight?
Yes. I'm like, wiener hands are useless. My guy is infinitely more powerful. And people are like, but wiener hands. I'm like, I hate you so much. firm rules need to be applied to that game. Firm rules.
I mean, it's just like Apples to Apples or Cards Against Humanity. It's one of those games where it completely depends on the people that you're with.
Nope. Firm rules. Firm rules.
It
up
does
front.
though, because it's an argument game.
But I'm saying you need to know up front. Are we playing for humor or are we playing for realism? Because if you are playing for humor and I come with my like, I am this guy and I'm super like these are my cards and it's infinitely better, I want to know that I've beat you all because I take the game very seriously. And if I need to come in,
I'm glad that we know that up front because if I ever do play that with you, it will probably end up being humor. And yeah, as Dodger was saying, things like Cards Against Humanity and Apples to Apples, which is the version for people without balls. Oh, I've pissed off Tumblr again. But it's the version for people that maybe don't like horribly offensive things. Let's be honest with that.
Without balls.
Yeah.
He means women. He means
It
women.
also came first.
Everyone.
Apples to Apples came before Cards
It did,
Against
yeah,
Humanity.
very much so.
So Cards Against Humanity, when it was first released, was like, oh, it's like the edgy version of Apples to Apples.
Yeah.
And now Apples to Apples is the shitty version of Cards Against Humanity. And I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't play.
Well,
I can't play Cards Against Humanity with certain people, like your parents, for instance. That's probably a bad idea. Yeah, because frankly, some of the stuff in that is so horribly offensive that it's a game you pretty much got to be drinking to play, and you have to be with the right group of people because otherwise, it's not going to be a fun time for you. And some people take that game very, very seriously for no reason because really, it's a terrible. Like as an actual game, it's mechanically fucking awful.
But you learn about your group of friends that you're with.
Do.
You do.
I do.
You learn things. You learn who
about
likes
their
to
sense of
make
humor.
constant political jokes. You're like,
Yeah.
stop it.
Those
Stop
are
it.
my absolute favorite. Are the ones where you get it and it's like a very good political joke, but you're like, really, really? You could have gone with like midget with wiener hands, but instead you went with the president's next political agenda. Like, get out of here. Get out of here.
Some of the political stuff can be very funny, but it does
for
depend. Yeah, I don't know. And also, I like pointing out that Cards Against Humanity gets less fun every time you play it. So there's that problem, because you see the same shit
That
over
is
and
true.
over
You
again.
see the same cards. There
Yeah.
isn't that like shock laughter factor.
Is
That's
gone.
why. That's why. Yeah, it's one of those things where like you have to keep getting the new cards, like $5 packs or whatever.
Oh, they
Like,
know
it'll
that.
Spice up
They
your game.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
We
That's
thought
one of the reasons why the online version is great.
because you can just put whatever in.
Just, like,
I'm pretty sure we
silly
all
packs
have
of
cards
stuff
in that, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. Yours is Totalbiscuit's hat,
Yeah.
right?
Do you know all these things?
Mine is, I played it a bit. Mine is on the next episode of Press Hard to Continue, Dodger will talk about
Okay.
blank. And it's usually something dick related.
Yep.
I mean,
right.
that's usually what happens.
Welcome to Cards Against Humanity, yes.
I can't remember Jesse's. Jesse definitely has one, though.
It's probably Jesse Cox's 18-inch wiener.
Right, yep. That's it. Wow, I can't believe I forgot that card.
And then ... that he bought at the footlong hot dog shop.
Let's see.
You got 18 inches at a foot-long hot dog shop? God, they must have loved you.
I'm a charmer. I talked him into it. I was like, give me an extra 6 inches. You know you can. You know you can. Throw another half a hot dog
Oh,
on there.
there's something that
mister.
could go horribly out of context very fast. There we go.
Like, for you, Cox, I'll give you 6 inches. I'm like, thanks, pal. Then we put some chili on
Yep.
cheese on there, and I was like, nom, nom, nom. Jesse Cox's. Can we make that? Go there and make that. Jesse Cox's 18-inch long wiener. ...
dot.
Bought at a full
So
hot
Jess, this
dog
is all your fault, by the way. Currently, it seems like Twitch is having some bugs with like its view count, but we literally dropped 10,000 viewers because of you talking about your wiener. So please don't do it again.
Stop talking about your wiener.
That's because they all had to get off their 28K modems to give me a call because they're like, damn, I want some of that.
Oh my god.
But yeah, TB, next time you're in town, I think Jesse and I, between us, have like 4 boxes of Super Fight, so...
Oh yeah, totally. Oh, the viewers are back. There we go. I knew it. You stopped talking about your wiener, and everyone came back. Fantastic.
Everybody's
That's
like,
proof.
"Oh, thank God."
That is proof.
The reason why they came back is because you started to talk about my wiener. TV's talking about Jesse's wiener.
Correlation equals causation, folks. That's a science fact. Oh
true.
my.
I wonder if when you type in the word total, if the Total cereal comes up first or if Totalbiscuit comes up first.
Isn't Total also an oil company? That probably has something to do with it. Yep, Total oil company.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm not even on the front page for that shit. I gotta get to work. If you go Total B, then it's all all me. But yeah, outside of that.
The picture of you is you laughing. It's you like.
Oh, that one, yes.
It's so good. You look so happy.
That was a nice time in my life. Everything got miserable from there on in. What else have I played? I played Max Gentleman earlier.
Oh, the hat game?
The hat
hats?
game. Yeah. That's pretty fucking fun.
Max Gentleman?
Max Gentleman! Yes.
Max Gentleman.
They have gentle persons and gentle animals in it as well. They are very inclusive.
I have a Max Gentleman figure right there. Right there. You can't see it, but it's a strong man with a hat on. I won that trophy for being the worst at that game at PAX East.
Yeah. It's out free on Steam right now. It looks kind of Happy Wheels-esque, but it's actually a fairly fun game. It's pretty simple to get into. It is simply a game about collecting the maximum number of hats possible, but as your hat stack increases, the objects are flying at you. You have to select how many hats will jump and how many will not to avoid the obstacles. Like, it's mostly just birds and things like that. And there's some challenges, like there's a challenge mode where there's a bar fight going on with a bunch of old-timey insults in the background, and you're racing to grab beers against this other guy, and every beer you get another hat. But there's beers being thrown and darts being thrown, and you've got to avoid them, and obviously
bounce your hats.
Yeah, you got to bounce the hats, and you have to select which hat is the starting point for the bounce. Because if you bounce all the hats, you might still get hit. So it's actually a shitload of fun.
Sounds fascinating.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do a video on it, but tonight it's actually free.
It's a manly game.
I see. I wouldn't get it. I wouldn't get it.
Yeah, of course not. It has both women. It has women octopus because Octodad is in it. It also has animals. There's an animal pack where you get a bunch of animals and more hats for the animals. The model of gun is the base game's free, and then they did a bunch of But
all the animals
DLC.
are men. Manly men, Dodger. You wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get it.
I'm sorry. Okay, I won't play it. I won't play it.
Fair enough.
I'll watch men play it.
Yeah. The only problem I have,
as you should.
Well, that's objectifying men, Dodger. So you better fucking quit it immediately.
God.
Low cut top.
Internet police.
Have Sam wear a V-neck and you just like, yeah. Play that game.
Yeah, boy, you play that.
Only problem I got with that game is every time you get a new hat, it's sort of okay. Only problem I've got with that game is every time you get a new hat, it sort of violently jerks the camera back a little bit, and it actually made me a bit motion sick. Weirdly enough, it's just because the camera movement is and it zooms it back in if you lose a hat as well. So it was like whoa, like oh god, after about 15 minutes of playing that, so that could be a problem. Outside of that, it's a shitload of fun. It's a very simple kind of arcade game with a fairly interesting theme that is free, so there's literally no reason not to play it at all.
None.
Give it a shot. None.
Play it.
Zero.
Unless you're a woman.
That's true. That's true.
No, you have to play it, because now you make up apparently 48% of the games industry, so you need to play
Yeah,
it.
oh, yeah, did you hear that we play more games than teenage boys, so...
Yes. If those games happen to be called Farmville and Candy
broad
Crush.
term.
Many people...
Lies, damn lies, and statistics.
After you told me about that, I got so many tweets from people being like, you guys should talk about this. This is really interesting stuff. And I was like, it's not.
No, it's not. Like,
it's not.
There's some actual legitimate stats that have been sourced from many different places that I stumbled across. I believe that it was actually posted on Reddit. Hopefully they've not deleted the damn thread. r/games has got very delete happy over the last few days because people get very mad about video games. But it was saying like something like 95% of people playing Dota 2 are male. I think the stat was more like 85% for League of Legends and a bunch of other stuff. And it's like WoW is like 80% male. Call of Duty is actually surprisingly less male than a lot of this other stuff is. But
I'm curious what the things that make up most of the... I assume most of the women gaming is mobile. I'm going to go on a limb.
Mobile and Facebook, essentially. Here it is. Oh, no, damn. PBS is posting this. Yeah, 96% of EVE Online players are male, 96% of Dota 2 players are male, 90% of LoL players are male, 84% of WoW players are male, 80% of COD players are male, that is actually the stat which surprised me greatly. But, I guess it is a very popular game. Why not? So when you look at that and then you look at the stats, it's like, this graph is maybe not that useful.
Super correct.
It's that Kim Kardashian game. It brought all the girls to the yard.
Well, that
Kim's
probably
got that
comes
milkshake.
into the stats quite significantly, I would imagine. You're playing titles like that. And it's not really... I don't think it's useful information. Because the majority of the money being sunk into developing games is being sunk into games that are not actually being played by a majority of women.
I thought it was useful. I thought it meant there was a bunch of hot women out there playing games I could relate to now. I was like,
go and get your farm going. You got to make sure you got at least 20 cows.
I'd rather die alone.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's not useful information in general. Like I don't think there's even anything to discuss about it. The stat is not useful at all. Like if you count people as gamers that occasionally have played something on a mobile device, then that's almost everybody. So, you want to count my dad as a gamer because he played MechWarrior 3 like 10 years ago and played a game of Dominion last night? He's not. No. But my mother plays a bit of Candy Crush, and she also plays a bit of Puzzle Quest and things like that, and she doesn't classify herself as a gamer, and I wouldn't classify her as one either. And that's fine, but I just think it's not useful information in general. It's a bad stat.
I mean, you've seen the game Brooke plays. Those are the worst games I've ever seen. That's a gamer? No.
But let's be honest, like, being labeled a gamer is hardly a fucking badge of honor, is it? It's like, I am defined by my hobby that lots of other people do. No, that doesn't sound good. Considering a lot of the shit that goes on, I don't know if I'd want to be associated with the term gamer. But
at least it's better than calling something weird like you're a fanatic. Of sports. Get out of here. Just die.
Just leave now.
Yeah, it's like, when did fanatic become a positive moniker to have? Oh, it never did. Yes, okay. Interesting. I think an article like that is just ultimately useless information. Oh.
But it's one of those articles that people click because the headline is...
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially considering the headline is highly sensationalist. It's like, but basically what they said is women oust teenage boys as like in terms of numbers. Like no, they don't in any way, and you don't use language like that unless you're clickbaiting. So
I've been to conventions. That is not true.
It's like the one place that I can go where there's not a line at the bathroom for ladies. It's amazing. Men's line is out the door.
It's an unsanitary, disgusting mess in those bathrooms. You do not go.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I mean, if anything, I think maybe an article like that is somewhat damaging to the discussion. The discussion is already difficult enough to have, but we said we wouldn't have this discussion, so let's not fucking do it! We've had it so many times already.
But it's good women are into gaming. That's nice.
Of course.
I like that.
Okay.
Ladies. But what I don't like is that it implies that, the implication, you're right. That it's
false information which misleads the whole discussion. It's a red herring, essentially. So
yeah.
I don't see any reason to talk more about that.
I played a lot of Lords of the Fallen.
Oh, now this I do want to hear about.
So angry.
Okay, so let's hear.
I played Lords of the Fallen at Comic-Con. Okay. Because I wanted to get something for Sam, and I wanted to see if they had any like Lords of the Fallen stuff or any Dark Souls stuff that he doesn't have. He has all the Dark Souls stuff, by the way. But they did have a Lords of the Fallen t-shirt, and I was like, I want that t-shirt. And she said, you can't get it unless you beat our little like boss zone on the Lords of the Fallen. And I was like, fine, I'll do it. So I went out there and I watched like 5 or 6 different dudes try to beat this guy. It was called Defeat the Catacombs, and you had to walk through this whole area and kill all the dudes and then get to the boss arena where it was like this big bulky guy who would just run into walls and throw razor blades at you.
Is he called Champion by any chance? Because I think I might be watching that footage at the moment. Yes.
Yes, he is the champion. So, so after a few attempts, I managed to defeat him and get the t-shirt, which I was very proud of myself for. But I do have to say, I think Lords of the Fallen is a lot smoother than Dark Souls. Like Dark Souls is a little rough. You know, it's rough around the edges, but it's kind of supposed to be.
Yeah.
Lords of the Fallen feels really nice to play. It feels really smooth. Like everything that you're doing happens immediately, you know? So I really enjoyed playing that at Comic-Con. And then on press day, I was like, I want to go play Lords of the Fallen again. And Sam was like, let's do it. So we went to the Lords of the Fallen area. And on press day, most of the time, the people that are there for press day, they just want to go in, play a game for a few minutes so that they understand what the game is, and then leave and play another game, right? So where Lords of the Fallen was, they literally let you play as long as you wanted, and they would not kick you out.
Nice.
So it was me there for like an hour and a half because I couldn't beat the fucking other boss. They let you either do Champion or another one called... The Warden. The Warden? I think it was called the Warden. So you could do either one or you could do both or whatever. So Sam was doing the Champion and I was doing the Warden. I was so angry because I got him down to like this much life. And you know, it's the same sort of thing as in Dark Souls or any other game like that, where there's a method, right? There's like a specific method to defeat that dude.
Sure.
But man, it was very hard. But really, it really did capture that idea of this is so hard, you're not going to leave until you beat it sort of a thing, you know? And I love that. I love that about Dark Souls, where I get so angry, but I keep wanting to play it. Lords of the Fallen has that, but it's cleaner. So I'm excited for that game to come out. I think it comes out soon.
It is relatively soon, yeah. I'm fairly interested in looking at it. Because the concerns I've got about it, and maybe you played enough to know about this, I don't know if you just played kind of the boss arenas and things like that. It does. One of the strengths of Dark Souls, a lot of people hype about Dark Souls difficulty, but one of the strengths of Dark Souls is its kind of world-building aspect in the way that it's very mysterious, very melancholy. Do you
there's
get
a
that,
lot
or
of
is this
lore that you kind of uncover as you play Dark Souls and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Do you think that even though mechanically it maybe sounds like it may have improved in some areas, it's going to fall short on the lore and the world building and more to the point, the level design, you know, which and many of the levels in Dark Souls are very, very well designed indeed.
For sure. The Catacombs area is pretty straightforward, I think, because, you know, it's a demo that they have you play on the show floor. So it's just kind of like, you know, it's a couple turns and that's it.
You can't get lost on a demo there. That would be bad.
Yeah, but I think the tone of it looks really nice. The aesthetic is really nice, but they don't really give you an idea of what the lore is going to be or what the story is. So
all right. So it's hard to say.
Can't really comment on that.
But mechanically, it feels tight. It feels responsive.
Feels really nice. Yeah.
The animation quality looked good, from what I could tell.
The guy at the booth was losing it because everyone else around me was just calmly playing. And then, you know, they'd die and be like, and then move on. Every time I died, I got so angry. I was like, fuck! And I would just like throw the controller and then I'd pick it up again and I'd play it again. And he eventually came over to me and was like, you okay? I was like, fine, thank you. He was just like openly laughing at me. But yeah, it incited a lot of good rage.
Oh, hold on, sorry.
What?
No, I had the same moment, but it was the reverse. It was earlier when I was talking about the hat that I got from Sunset Overdrive.
This has nothing to do with Lords of the Fallen, does it?
Not at all. No.
Is it Sunset Overdrive?
Mm-hmm. It is. Okay, yeah. So while playing that, it has to do with the developers, because at Gamescom the developers are just like sort of there. Yeah. They made you play with a bunch of people in a multiplayer like arena match thing, and the whole concept was whoever got the highest score won the hat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I played it twice. The first time I go in, there's a woman on the intercom thing playing with you. She's like, okay, so everyone, you're gonna need to grind around, and jump up on top. And you're grinding, and you're gonna fly around, and it's like,
I hate it when they do that.
And so if you're on the ground, they're like, keep off the ground, jump around, keep going. And so I got 5th place because I was trying to listen to what she was saying. I'm like, F this shit. I leave, come back in, get with another group. This time I stay on the ground and don't do anything but shoot zombies as they spawn. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna need you. She's like, player 1, I need you to get up, player 1. I'm like, I'm killing the zombies before they get to you though, so we're good, yeah? And she's like, gotta grind, bro. I'm like,
if she actually said that, like, gotta grind, bro, like, fuck this, I'm out. No one speaks this way.
It was so good. She's like, you gotta do it, and she's getting more and more testy with me. She's like, everyone else is grinding, you aren't grinding. And I was like, that's because I want to get a hat.
It's like, that's because I want to win and play optimally. It's like, don't interrupt my fucking min-maxing.
A game that is specifically designed to promote it as grinding and like rail gliding and stuff. The person who didn't, I got 188 more kills than anyone else. And I just sat on the ground and just launched rockets at zombies as they spawn. And I was like, that says something.
That's mostly.
I'm not gonna draw any conclusions, but that says a little bit. And I was like, thank you for the hat, and I did not go back. I was like, I'm done. I got what I wanted.
Yeah, I didn't really enjoy it all that much, which kind of bummed me out because I've been so excited because I like the colors and I like the idea of it and everything, but playing it I was like, man, when I'm grinding, it's so hard to like
it's really hard to do anything. Yes.
It's hard to do anything. Yeah, so I was like, I'm just going to stay on the ground. And that's fine.
Like I spent an entire round grinding and rail gliding and bouncing off stuff and jumping as high as I get and doing like cool moves. It looks awesome, but you miss 90%
That's completely
of the damn
fucking
zombies.
impractical. Yeah,
it's totally useless. And I can see how in some parts there are things where you have to do that to like avoid being murdered. Because if you stand on the ground for a while, but eventually I found really good locations where I could just stand and kill guys. And then you get traps, and you can put traps down. So I put a trap down on one side of me, and then I'd turn and face the other side. So anyone coming behind me would just get slaughtered by this trap, and then I just kill guys on one side. And I was like, using your brain it makes this a lot easier than what you guys are. It's not that hard.
Yeah, it's almost like Rule of Cool, but you can't do Rule of Cool if it's not simultaneously reasonably practical. And there are plenty of games, like, ask Platinum about the Rule of Cool. Ask Metal Gear Rising about the Rule of Cool. That shit can still be practical.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool things that I was like, it looks gorgeous. It plays very fun, but it's just, there's something about it.
It plays very fun. Jesse Cox, 2014. There's the box quote for you.
I mean, it plays like, you're enjoying what you're looking at and what you're doing isn't difficult, but it's not like it's missing something. It's like there's a soul to the game that did not exist in what I played. And I was like, I don't know, it's a lot of substance.
Yeah.
Or a lot of not substance. Oh Jesus, look, I'm old. A lot of the surface stuff.
All flash, no pancakes, right?
Thank you. Yes.
That's not a real phrase. I think I just made that up.
It is now.
Flash, no pancakes.
All flash.
All flash, no pancakes.
There was a lot of fire there, but it was not cooking anything.
That actually works, doesn't it? Shit.
That is very good.
There we go.
That's very
cool.
good. We heat up.
We can add that to you can't see very
cook.
far in a shitstorm. That's 2 things I've coined this week. That's good. Let's start charging for that shit. It'll be brilliant. It does seem like it might be style over substance.
Yeah,
frankly.
that's what I was going for.
Yeah.
Style over substance. Thank you, Internet.
Yep. Yeah. There are other games that do style over substance, but also have substance, so I guess they don't do that. But that's why I'm kind of looking forward to Dead Rising 3, the PC version. It's looking quite good. Dead Rising, historically something that is very happy to do stupid shit, but it's still surprisingly practical. So we'll see how that comes out, and obviously anything that Platinum ever makes ever is both style and substance. It's just wonderful. Is there anything else you played at Gamescom that you found particularly enthralling? Or not, perhaps?
Oh, shit. I know something I didn't find enthralling that I wanted it to be Quantum Break. Quantum Break.
Oh, you actually played it.
What was that?
Quantum Break is...
What is that game?
That's the best question to start with. What is it?
So basically, I don't remember what the initial scenario is. Someone, somewhere... I think a scientist at a college or whatever, they're experimenting with time, and an accident happens, and the main character, he has the ability to stop time and manipulate time and do all that stuff, but time itself is breaking down, except we, the normal people of the world, don't notice, but he notices, and eventually time will cease to be, and we're all gone, right? And that's and so, he's trying to save the world from this thing that's happening. But meanwhile, there's an evil corporation, ? That's trying to stop him. And they have technology that can allow them to manipulate time as well. And so they have like time troopers and shit that try to get him while he's in the... So there's the scenario that we got was you're on a bridge and there's riots breaking out and people are hunting you down. You're trying to get away, but you can't. So rather than escape, you're going to use your time powers to run right through the action, but stop time so you can get through so no one notices you were there, right? So instead of trying to, like, it starts out you're hiding and you're ducking and you're trying to avoid getting killed by these guys trying to hunt you down, and you can stop time and you can take weapons and run behind them and change like where guys are at. It's really cool. It takes all the tropes of like time stopping and uses them effectively.
Okay.
And that part's very fun, but it reminds you of you're playing a time-stopping version of Grand Theft Auto-y, kind of like the fighting, like you're ducking and you're. It's fun.
That's the thing that really stands out from Grand Theft Auto: the ducking.
The ducking is my favorite part of Grand Theft Auto.
What the fuck are you even talking about, Jesse? Come on.
The combat is very like the way
There's a lot
it
of
played
ducks
out
in the
was very,
combat. It's very duck.
Yeah, it was a lot of you're ducking behind shit and you're waiting for guys to stop firing and then you pop up like poo poo.
So
right?
it's a cover system then.
Sure. All right. So anyway, look, that's why you're the reviewer. That's why you're the reviewer,
I'm
man.
not a fucking reviewer. You know
or whatever
that.
you are. Whatever. Look, you're the one with the knowledge of
The
shit.
guy that's
I just
smarter
play
than you.
games.
Just
yeah,
let's
okay.
go with that.
So yeah, sure. So then, then you go to this bridge part, and that's when it gets this big open sort of time stops and shit starts to go down. The bridge starts to fall apart, and it becomes kind of like a platformer, and
Okay.
you're jumping through things that change. It's very, very cool looking, but I've never been more bored doing something that looks so damn cool.
Okay.
Oh, that sucks.
So
Right?
is it mechanically David Cage, or is it a bit more than that?
It is.
David Cage, Golden God.
I mean, David Cage makes no bone. Like, it's definitely a game. Unlike David Cage games, which are
David Cage doesn't know what mechanics
at
are,
best.
so
Yeah, David Cage. That's why I love them. They're dubious games at best, but I don't. I can't even. Like, the combat is okay. The gameplay
is wrong with you?
okay, but all of it is
Jesus.
strictly like everything about it is okay. Like,
is that the one that ate the marzipan?
Huh?
Was that the one that ate the marzipan?
Yep.
Well, there you go. You've got the
Fuck
reason.
you, Watson. You're an eating machine. You're a dumpster. Huh.
All right, as you were saying, Jesse.
Look, I don't know what I was saying anymore. Chat's like, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I do. I do.
You have a problem,
I
you have a
do.
problem expressing it. You have an expression issue.
All I'm saying is, it was a game that played okay, looked beautiful, but left you feeling like, well, that was very slow. Like, it was very, I don't know. It felt like there was a lot happening, but none of it was of value.
Right.
Like, it was like a lot of shit was going down, but at its core, you're jumping from platform to platform, and it looks cool because it's time dilation and shit's moving and like, but really what it is it's a moving platform that you have to jump on, right?
Yeah.
It's moving back and forth. You have to jump on this platform, but it just looks cool because it's like blah, 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 right? Because time's changing all around you, but it's just you're jumping to a platform. There's
Fair.
fundamentally at the core of the game, there's nothing too terrifically new in it. It just looks like, oh, it's cool
It's
because that's
style over
fine.
substance again.
Looks like
but-
wine.
Yeah.
Are they trying to shoot for the whole interactive movie nonsense again? Is that the feel that you got from it?
No, that's the one thing I didn't get from it. I got more of and that's what I was trying to hint at earlier. I got more of a Watch Dogs kind of feel, like when you do missions in Watch Dogs, for example. That's the feel I got over anything else. Not like the overworld you're walking around Grand Theft Auto style. Like when you're in missions in those types of games, that's the feel I got out of it. And so you're hiding under shit and you're running as they're firing at you and you run around them. But in this case, what you're doing, instead of hiding and running, I'm stopping time and I'm running around them to get a better vantage point, and then I pop up and shoot them from behind, right? But it's except for that one thing, it's the same style of mechanical fight. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's one of those things where everything felt like I've experienced this with many games. Everything felt like it was taken from somewhere else and just repurposed.
And they just repackaged it in this whole time dilation, being the main theme of the game. Okay.
Yes. And
I can see why that would not be incredible.
Yeah, it came as a real shock to me because I was under the assumption, like I think many people, that it was a game that would be David Cage-esque. Like when you saw
it certainly looked like it, didn't it?
Yeah, like it was going to be more cinematic and apparently they're doing that. Like it's supposed to have a lot of cinematic stuff. It has like a movie, TV show, episodic thing that launches with it.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
So they're definitely going for story, and I don't know if the part that they let us play was kind of like when you played some of the like the mini levels in my brain just died. Beyond Two Souls. Like there's certain parts of that game that aren't just like go over, press up. There's some parts where you actually have to do things and like fight guys and shoot guys. But that's only like 3 or 4 parts. And I wonder if maybe that's what we played as one of the 3 or 4 parts of the game that are like that, but I don't know. And so again, I'm interested to see what they actually make with the game and if maybe that was just a bad experience I had. But lately, a lot of bad gameplay experiences. I'm looking at you, crappy horror game that I can't remember the title of.
What was the most disappointing thing you played at Gamescom?
Oh, again, it was the horror game. I can't remember the damn name of it. Evil Within. Again.
No one has anything good to say about that.
No one has said anything good about Evil Within, yeah.
I've played it twice now, and I hate it. Every time I play it, I hate it more. I just can't.
Why?
It is... First off, the controls are really clunky. Like, the controls are like, very... like...
Have they gone for tank controls with that thing? Does it feel like they're deliberately trying to throw back to the older Resident Evil games, or they just fucked it up completely?
I don't know that it's a deliberate... Like, it doesn't... I don't... It's not like a thing with The Last of Us, where it's like, we're trying to make it hard because he doesn't really know how to use a gun or whatever. No, this is it. It just doesn't feel responsive. Like, it feels like something's wrong, and I can't explain it. Everything feels like it's a little off, and I don't know if maybe that's just the demo or whatever, but then all the puzzles are very simple puzzles, but it's to the point where everything in between those puzzles is a pain in the ass. So, like, solving the puzzles is easy, but getting to the way to solve the puzzles is a pain. Everything from
sounds like Resident Evil 2 to me.
Everything from the weird monsters that chase you to the overarching villain, I guess, is the Ghost Man, who, I've said this before, I'll say it again, is the worst mechanic in the history of games, where it's this guy who randomly spawns in the map and he hunts you down, and if he hits you, you get like 99% of your life taken off, right? And even if you're low life, he can kill you. It's a huge hit, but you can outrun him and stuff. But the problem is his spawn is random, and not just like random moments, completely random. So you could be climbing down a ladder or fighting monsters or doing whatever, and he just spawns. And if you're in the middle of combat with something and he spawns, you're fucked. And there's like, now you're running from everything and everyone's running after you. And so that's a pain in the ass. And then if you die, the reload, like the respawn system is so unforgiving. I know that Krendor, when he played demo of it, when we were at E3, like it would respawn him like way back in the beginning. Like you have to hit like certain marks. It isn't like you like checkpoints. Oh my God. It is so ridiculous. And I hoped that they would change things and make it better, and it just keeps getting worse. And I hate it so much. I have nothing good to say about it.
Here's what... Sorry, Dodger, go ahead.
Oh, all I was going to say is that the way that we were describing Sunset Overdrive earlier is the way that I've heard a lot of people describe Evil Within, is that they cared a lot about it looking real creepy and having real gross stuff in it, but everything else is just garbage. Which sucks.
It really does not play well. It just doesn't.
And it seems like half of that is deliberate. They want to make you kind of struggle against the controls. Like they even from the start, they were very much saying, we want to go back to the way that survival horror used to be. Like, yeah, but why? I mean, survival horror has moved on and has done so reasonably well, honestly. It's done it pretty effectively. Basically, the mainstream gaming dropped survival horror on its head for no apparent reason, yeah? And then indies came and picked it up, and then we got stuff like Amnesia and Outlast, and even to some degree, things like Splendor. These kind of non-combat survival horror games. And then things are starting to pick back up again, and then we've got things like Evil Within. So we're going to really throw back to the way that things used to be. But it sounds like the way things used to be was actually pretty fucking terrible. I remember playing those games back in the day, and the controls were a pain in the ass, and solving the puzzles
I've
seems
never
to be...
finished one because I got so frustrated.
I beat 2 of them. Bear in mind, Resident Evil 2 can be beaten in like under 4 hours. So, but that was a game you had to play multiple times to get all the shit out of it. And I beat Code Veronica as well. That was a fucking slog. Like, it's a good game. They did a lot with it, but is there even a space for a game like that anymore? I don't know, but if there is, it sounds like Evil Within is not going to be that game by the sounds of it. Not at all.
However, Silent Hills took over.
PT?
I
heard some insane shit about that. That, and this is coming from someone that plays on PC, that actually looks pretty fucking impressive for a console game, I gotta admit.
I'm not, look, everyone in the world's like, Jesse, you should play the PT. No, F you. I'm not doing it. I ain't gonna do it. I'd rather be able to sleep at night, thank you very much. Not happening. Like, that is the thing to do, I guess, on YouTube right now, is play that. Nope. That's scary as balls. That PT stuff.
Well, Guillermo del Toro's involved in it as well, which is fantastic. I love the fact that he's dabbling a bit more. I was looking forward to seeing what he could do with Insane, and then, of course, it all got cancelled, so he wasn't able to do it. But right. We've both met that man, and he is a fantastic human being. So
I'm excited to see what comes out of it. I'll watch someone else play it. I'm not touching it. No way I'm going to be alone in a room with that shit. Not happening.
Yeah, Bill described it as kind of because really PT is kind of nothing. It's more just kind of an exploration game. It's not a game. It's basically a demo. It's a promo essentially for what's coming.
Right.
But
it's like they said it's an interactive trailer. So.
Yeah, that sounds like exactly what it is. So I mean, it's interesting that they tried to do that, and it seems like it has drawn up a lot of publicity for it. So it seems like it's worked. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. But I'm not going to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Fuck that. I hate horror games. No. You know how it goes.
Everyone I've seen play it has been just like, I don't know how to describe that anymore. Like, you're a ruined human being. I'd rather not be that person. Thanks.
Yes, I did watch the YouTube video of old Asian women playing the PT demo. Well, that was probably funnier than when they did that for Dead Space, I got to say. But when it comes to Evil Within, though, it sounds like it is probably going to end up being a train wreck. Like, everything we've heard up to this point has not been good. So I am very concerned about that game. And I'm also concerned that idiots in the media will then say, well, nobody likes horror anymore. Nobody likes it. It's just abandon it again. Like, no, they do. You just didn't do it very well.
Here's the thing, though. I'd be okay with that.
Stick with it.
I'd be okay with the abandonment of horror, and then in 10 years we'll get like super horror games. That'll be really disturbing.
Horror.
Oh, can you imagine 10 years from now, Slender? Oh my God, the internet will explode.
Oh, well, in the future, Rift. I mean,
it'll be Oculus.
Let's be honest, Oculus Rift will be the thing that really pushes horror a lot further than it currently is. It's way too immersive. So, and fuck everything about doing anything with that. Nope, not doing it. Not even gonna, rather do 10 ice bucket challenges than play that shit. Absolutely not.
Holodeck.
No way.
Slender.
Ugh. Well, Slender's just shit. But,
why would you want
games.
Slender in your holodeck?
Holodeck.
Your holodeck is supposed to be for hot ladies and alcohol.
Here's the thing,
and a
though.
good time.
I'm telling you right now, if Star Trek: The Next Generation, if this was 1989, and Slender was a thing, that would be an episode where they all got trapped in the holodeck and Slender went after them. I'm telling you right now, that would have been an episode. It would have been one of the, like, every other year we do one scary episode where only Data can save them.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Data.
They're paralyzed by fear. Or there was the really creepy episode where everyone was drinking their brains through a straw. That was a weird one in TNG.
Oh, you mean Indiana Jones?
No. No. Not that. No, not at all.
Oh.
Anything else you played at Gamescom that is worth noting? Yeah, you both got the same answer for this one, Dodger. You thought that Evil Within was the worst thing you played there, or?
I didn't play Evil Within. I didn't. Sunset Overdrive was probably the worst thing I played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was the thing that I walked away from going, that was a disappointing mess.
I played Fable Legends. Legends.
How was that?
I played as the villain.
Good. That sounds like the most fun
Nice.
part of it.
Lots of 4v1 stuff, by the way.
Yes, that is
coming out.
becoming a thing now, and I'm actually very happy about that. I talked about it when I did my Giants video. It's like, hey, yeah, we did asymmetrical like 12 fucking years ago, and you guys forgot. And then maybe the Wii U kind of brought it back, and then people's like, oh, people love this idea, but they don't have 5 people in the house. Let's put it online then! And you know, you've got Evolve, and you end up having Fable Legends, and there's a few others that are doing the whole asymmetrical thing. I dig that. I'm into it.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Jesse, go on.
No, so I played as the bad guy, and they give you a little intro video. They introduced 2 new characters. One is a rogue, and one is like he has the plague mask on. I think he's like a poison kind of guy. So there's a few more characters you can be now in the world, but I saw them and was like, meh, I want to be the villain, and no one else in the room wanted to, so I was very happy about this.
Why would you not want to do that? That sounds like the most fun. Or maybe I'm just a twisted individual. It's possible.
Yeah. The guy was like, how come everyone with a beard wants to be the villain? I was like...
Well, you got to put on a hat and then just do this all the time.
Yeah.
That's not... the hat that you put on there would be a large fedora, and you'd have a Tommy gun by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And so...
Shouldn't be hard to find a fedora in Gamescom.
It works how you think it would. The heroes have to go through a map set up by the villain.
Yes.
And the villain can set traps and all sorts of things. And the enemies, you can control not only where they spawn, but also their special attacks. And so each of them, one throws grenades. And so you can launch a grenade assault from like across the map at the heroes. The like foot soldiers, there were only 4 enemies at the time. There were 3 different goblin types and then one like sneaky satyr looking guy. And so you can make him go invisible. The satyr, you can make him go invisible and stalk one player that went off by themselves. And then when they were alone, kill them. Like come after them. Yeah, so there's a lot of different things. You can make the grunts like go berserker mode. But it was like playing as the villain is a tactical game, right? So it's
Dungeon Land, right? I mean,
that's exactly
it sounds like a less funny but probably less buggy version of Dungeon Land.
You're opening and closing gates to stop people, but you're like interacting with the heroes as they're going through the map. So you're trying to separate them, and if one of them gets hurt, you want to focus all your attacks on people trying to res him and things like that.
Right.
And the heroes get 3 potions apiece, and so basically they all have 4 lives, and you just want to try to cut them off. And so I did the douchey thing of right at the entrance, put 4 landmines. And so the minute they walked in, they was like, no. And I was like, launch goblin grenade attack. And so like immediately they're already hurt and they're already down like a potion apiece. And I'm like, go on. And so they went through, and it was one of those moments where it was very obvious and easy to see how to beat them. And it felt really, really good. I don't know what it's like to play the heroes, but I assume it's like any other game where you're playing with other people and you're like that. You're like that. I don't know what that view is. Isometric. I'm so hepped up on sugar from all this damn candy. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. It's.
I didn't know it was the difference personally, but go on.
Isn't it the same as Dungeon Land? We played Dungeon Land with TB.
Yeah, it's pretty much isometric.
So
that's accurate enough to describe it. Everyone knows what you're talking about.
Here's the thing. I don't know what isometric is.
I fucked up on isometric before, man. I said, well, it's kind of pseudo-isometric. No, it's literally isometric. Like, oh, fuck. Okay. And then I've said something's isometric at one point. It's like, no, it's not. Like, oh, you know what I mean.
I don't know the definition anymore.
You know exactly what I mean when I say it.
But everyone is... It is very third person. Sure. Okay, third person perspective. Whatever. I didn't play them, so I don't know how it looks. But from the trailers, I've seen different views. And so you have these, like, you're looking top down as this villain, and you're planting traps. And so you just, if you see people run away, you click a gate, and the gate goes up, and you can block them, and they have to break it down. And the thing is it wasn't difficult. Like, you didn't feel like, oh my god, they're doing so many things so quickly. Like, it felt like you had time to react, and you could fight back, and it wasn't just them being assholes to you. or you being an asshole to them. It was very competitive. The thing is I think because they were 4 people who didn't know each other, they weren't very coordinated.
Yeah.
So I could easily pick some of them off, and they didn't even make it. Like, there's a boss ogre, and the people who were ahead of us, I saw them fight the boss ogre and lose. And so I was like, oh, I have a chance to be the villain. All right, sure, shit, let's do this.
Yeah.
And they didn't even get to the ogre with me.
Do you get to directly control the boss like in Dungeon Land or any of the monsters or what?
I don't know because they didn't get to the boss. So I have no
did you get to directly control any of the minions? Because again, in Dungeon Land, you can do
move,
that.
You can select them and move them. You can make them do go to certain locations. You can. So the one guy who is the satyr who goes invisible, what I'd do is I'd have him follow whoever the slowest one was and stay right behind him. And then whenever that person would go off in a different direction, I'd raise gates, lock him in with the satyr, and have the satyr uncloak and attack him.
Okay, so you don't actually have direct control of one minion like in Dungeon Land, where you get an action bar and you have direct WASD movement and things. So it's more of an RTS. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Which makes me sad that it's not on fucking PC. It's apparently an Xbox One exclusive. It would be perfect here.
It is weird because you're using when you highlight it like A would be the satyr's controls, and you go X, and that would be the controls for all the different random goblins. And so it was very weird control wise, but it played very well, and I was really surprised. I was like, I thought this was gonna be shit, and it's actually kind of fun. So that came as a big shock to me. But again, I think I played 10 minutes because I destroyed them so quickly. I felt really bad, and I was like, I'm sorry, I ruined your experience. They were little kids and stuff. It was this mom and 2 kids and some.
You're a horrible fucking human being.
I was like, I'm sorry, and the guy was like, evil villains don't apologize. I'm like, I'm evilly sorry.
Do they give you any reason for why this is a Fable game? I've wondered this.
Not one,
why it's under the Fable franchise, just to make sure it sells, I guess.
Sounds like it. I guess they can reuse assets. I don't know.
There's a moon that has magic powers and an evil villain. By the way, the dark villain guy looks like a freaking badass tree man. He's so cool. He's he has a tree deer skull thing and I was like, this is the coolest druid villain I've ever seen in my life. I love this guy. So I can get behind the villain. But no, I don't think I saw anything that explains at all why it is even remotely Fable. But
yeah. Well, to be fair, Fable the Journey had a similar issue as well. It's this didn't need to be a Fable game. But it's weird, as someone pointed out in the chat, it's is Fable a trusted brand? Fucking no, it isn't. Not after Fable 3, it's not. Absolutely not. And the best one, that being Fable 2, arguably never made it to PC in the first place. So, yeah, there's that.
I loved the first Fable game.
Yeah, well, they are releasing that thing, aren't they? The HD version, which is weird because the first one was also in high definition on PC anyway, but...
I was wondering about that.
it's Fable The Lost Chapters HD. It's not only did you do an improved version of PC the first time, you're now improving the improved version. Okay, well, we'll see. Although, I'm going to be honest, I do want a decent excuse to play Fable again, because the original Fable I enjoyed that game a lot.
Me too.
So I will happily play it again.
And apparently villains can save their configuration. So if you want to play, you don't have to do it you don't have to set up every time. So you can go into the game when you're just not doing anything and make a map configure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can take your time to come up with really douchey things. I was like, good.
It sounds like they've mixed elements of Dungeon Land with Mighty Quest for Epic Loot in that respect. Which is that's a heady combination. I would love to play it, but again, it's on console. I'm not really going to sit down and play on console. I don't think. Not for that.
That came out. I was surprised about that one.
Take a break. We have about 50 minutes left of the show, so let's take a break, and when we come back...
I thought you said 15, and I was like, what?
No, it's, time flies when you're having fun, but Jess is around, so, he's having the time dilation effect.
You're ruining everything, Jesse. Yeah.
Jesse's a living, breathing time dilator.
Isometric.
We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. There's games to come. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the co-optional podcast for the final 45 minutes of the show, give or take.
Jesse, stop eating those.
Is
gonna make yourself sick.
Is he eating more of the
dicks?
Sweets?
Yeah.
Oh, he's eating more dicks. All right.
Yeah, he's eating the sweet dicks.
He's devouring his own right now. That could be taken multiple ways. All of them bad. It's brilliant. Jesse
Cox's 18-inch wiener. ...
Well, there goes 10,000 viewers again. Fuck you. So Nax is done. I finished the Nax content a couple of days ago. The final wing of Hearthstone, and it kind of ended with a whimper. I felt. Jesse, have you had a chance to beat the final wing yet, or?
I've only done 2.
No, I haven't.
No.
I need to. I have been busy playing some of the challenges because
challenges or the heroics?
the class challenges.
Yeah.
Some of them are insanely easy.
Mm-hmm.
And other ones are entirely
Random.
Impossible.
Random. Random is the word I would use. A good example is the Hunter class challenge.
Yeah, the Hunter one is
That's
actually
the only
silly.
one I've done. That's awesome.
It's
the Hunter
fun.
class challenge
Spinners
is
forever.
very fun, and once you figure out like how to do it, you're like, oh well, okay, I know how to do it now. This will be easy. No, because it's entirely random what happens.
Yeah, of course it is. You end up with a handful of King Crush, and like, I have 4 mana, I can't do shit with this.
Yes,
You will love the Paladin fight then. The thing about the reason I think that I let the Hunter challenge get away with it is because it's such a funny idea. He has a deck of 30 web spinners. Anything could happen. Paladin is a fucking dick, and Warrior is apparently pretty. Some people like problems with Warrior. I personally didn't, but again, the whole argument around the Paladin challenge right now is people saying, "Oh well, I beat it first time." It's like, great, you rolled 20 on a d20. That doesn't mean that the other 19 people were wrong. The Paladin challenge is fucking terrible. They give you 4 oozes, which is way too fucking many. Yeah, and they give you a bunch of buffs, but they only give you they set it up so it's like, oh, you got some divine shields and there's a blood knight, but there's only one fucking blood knight in the deck, so that's a dick. And you'd think the combos for the oozes would be, oh, you got to throw down Blessing of Kings. There's only one Blessing of Kings in the deck. The deck is actually an aggro deck. What you're supposed to do, and this doesn't even necessarily work, is throw down as many fucking creatures as you can, just aggro Kel'Thuzad down, right? But the deck itself is clearly designed to be combined with the buffs and things like that. And if you can end up with a handful of buffs and no creatures. And there's barely any draw in that deck either, so it's a fucking nightmare. It is a terribly designed challenge, really bad.
I just recorded, because I'm trying to catch up on like all the different, me just playing through it. I just recorded the military wing, and I found it really funny because I go through the first fight.
Oh, there's 6 oozes in it. Fuck. That's way too many.
I go through the first fight and the second fight and just destroy it. It's very easy. I'm like, well, it's normal mode, so of course it's easy. I get to the 4 horsemen. I'm like, oh, this is easy. I just gotta take these guys down, do this and this and this. For some reason, no matter what I did, he would always, by like turn 8, pull out like, here's 16 different spells. And I'd be like, what is even happening? And I would just die every time. And then I switched to Hunter. I hit to Hunter, or switched to Hunter, one-shot him, and like by turn 5. It was like, what? How did that? I don't know. People are like, you're doing it wrong. Obviously I am, because sometimes I don't know how to do stuff in that game where I'm like, wait, so my Hunter deck that is made to attack bosses, like the Hunter deck that I have is made to destroy other people's like character. Like that's it's not meant for your minions.
You're playing face Hunter, basically.
Yeah, and I was like, screw it. I've got a few things that, I have secrets on that, so I'll use the secrets there to counter their secrets, right? That was sort of my dicky motivation. It works so well that I know, like, all my things that are designed for a boss, I figure, well, it's not going to work on Baron Rivendare. You can't hurt him. No, it didn't matter, because everything else I had in there took down his guys so quickly. I was like, well, shit, I should have done this from the beginning. But I know had I tried from the beginning, I would not have gotten the cards that I got. It's like one of those things where it's totally random that I got the cards that I got at the right time. I don't know. I can't handle it. The randomization that kills me. But that's card games, so...
The one that I just did was so fun. It's like one of the really early ones. The mushroom guy. Mushroom guy with 75 health. That was awesome. I was like, this is a great fight. So
I
cool.
managed to waste an hour on Loethar because I didn't properly read the description of what the spores do. I thought you had to not kill them. So like, this is fucking hard. And I'm like, oh, fuck my life. Why?
Yeah, I was like, there's gotta be like a trick here.
I felt like a moron.
I forgot the raid mechanic for whatever the second guy is in military quarter, where if you kill his guys, they join your team, right? Except they join your team and hurt you. And so I was like, if I just kill all of his guys, I'll have a bunch of people on my team. And I just had an entire army of men who did no damage and just did 1 damage to me every turn. Somehow still won, but I was like, probably should read more into what I'm doing.
There's all sorts of cool things you can do with that. Like, if you play a shaman deck with a bloodlust, you just get them, bloodlust your whole fucking arm. It's like, I got 7 guys that hurt me, but they hurt you more, motherfucker! Bam!
That's how I won. That's how I won in the end, is I was playing my Thrall's Balls deck, but I don't... Thrall's Balls! That's a famous quote from World of Warcraft. Thank you very much. And I was just like, I thought I could do it. I thought I could do everything. Thrall could not take on Baron Rivendare. He got his ass kicked multiple times, and I was like, I'll try Rexar once. Instantly won. It was like, whatever.
That's a lot of the decks. That's just a lot of the fights are just hard countered by certain decks. And the heroics, I like what I played the heroics so far. I decided to wait to do all the heroics kind of at once after I did the Spider Wing. So I thought, I'm gonna relax and maybe I'll make some content out of it or something. But the sheer frustration involved in some of those heroic fights, because a lot of it really is, you've got to get the perfect draws, and he's got to get the not perfect draws, because if he does, you're fucked, and things like that. But I do appreciate that they made a lot of effort to make them like the WoW raids. That was great. You recognize those mechanics. The Saffron mechanic is really cool. They maybe could have done a bit more with Kel'Thuzad. I like the fact that they put a boss phases in Kel'Thuzad. That's really neat. They haven't done that before in Hearthstone, so... that's cool. You will enjoy that when you run into it. I'll tell you that for a fact. But, yeah, I mean, it maybe ended with a bit of a whimper because the last class challenge was really weak sauce, and maybe Kel'Thuzad wasn't quite as entertaining as I'd hoped. But do make sure to talk to him because he has a lot of special voices depending on what class you're playing. So that's good.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm big into that. But overall, the cards that I got out of it have revitalized the game in a big way. A lot of the competitive guys are saying the meta's a lot different now. I'm running a lot of weird shit on ladder. I played this incredible game last night.
So many fucking death rattle decks.
You haven't seen mine. Mine is fucking evil. I've come up with one that I'm going to be using for the next couple of videos that is a Warlock Death Rattle deck that's very combo orientated. There are things like Void Terrors in there with Power Overwhelming. Obviously throw a Baron Rivendare in there. And I just threw Kel'Thuzad in there. What happened with that? Last night I was playing against, I think it was a Druid, and he got, it was a Shaman. He played a Kel'Thuzad as well. Then he reincarnated his own Kel'Thuzad. And now what happens is, Kel'Thuzad brings back everything that died that turn, which it turns out includes Kel'Thuzad if you killed him but brought him back. So he had 2 Kel'Thuzads on his side, I had 1 Kel'Thuzad and 2 Thaddiuses on my side, and then shit got real for the next 20 minutes. It was ridiculous, and I just barely won by blowing up half my own team, but blew up more of his. So I was okay. The Thaddiuses did nothing. The Thaddeus is an 11/11 minion. Like, it's fucking beastly. And it got tanked by these 1/2 taunt oozers that he kept bringing back to life. Like, fucking stop it! It's just... It reminded me of the Batman. It's like nothing to do with all your strength, you know? Like, god damn it! But, yeah, I mean, I think it's a nice way of delivering the content. While 30 cards doesn't sound like a lot, it really has completely changed the ladder in a big way. And there's a decent amount of single-player content to kind of work with. But they certainly need to have another look at some of the heroics and some of those class challenges and think, let's not make them this fucking stupid. Because, especially for the class challenges, like, you play maybe a paladin, you've had to wait 5 weeks to get your card for some reason. I think they should just release all class challenges simultaneously next time.
Yeah,
frankly.
Yeah.
It's like, I primarily play this. I got dicked over. I have to wait till the 5th week to get my new shit, whereas the other guys are already playing with theirs. That I'm not a huge fan of. And some of that stuff is really random. And it's like, I just want the card, but I didn't draw well enough, so I don't get the card. Jesus.
I think I drew conclusions. I don't know if I recorded this or not, but I was trying to like test out some of the new shaman cards, and I think I drew conclusions that didn't exist. So like rejuvenate or whatever the res spell
Reincarnate.
is.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was convinced for some reason. Again, I may have mental problems. I was convinced that the dead guys, like, so during that fight where you kill a guy and then he joins your side, I was like, what if I res him? Does he come back as the
No,
alive guy on my
not
team?
at all.
The answer is definitely no.
Nope.
But in my mind, I was like, wouldn't that be a cool mechanic? So I did it and just rezzed a guy.
No.
I killed a guy and rezzed a guy who was already dead. So it was weird.
Yeah,
It was a weird...
I mean, that's just cruel, frankly. It's like, fuck, I already had to die once. Go to hell. Now, the way that Hearthstone works and that is fairly clear. Like, it's like things like when you play that Druid card, like Druid of the Claw or whatever, there can be one of two different minions. But his card is like a separate card on his own. If you were to res that, it would res as the bear. Because by that, the game treats it as being a different card entirely once you make that happen. And that's like the case with all of them.
Boo, I thought I had a plan. I thought I had a scheme. I thought I was like,
Not a good scheme.
This is how I do this.
Really,
this is my
really bad
trick.
scheme, actually.
Failure. Massive failure. Total failure.
Yep.
So, oh well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's fun stuff though.
It is. The missus has actually got really into Hearthstone now as a result of Nax. Because she wasn't playing a huge amount, but she wanted to play the single-player stuff. So she did, and then I find her on ladder. And she's doing all right. I'm like, oh. So I have to wonder if the strategy of doing single-player was deliberate to maybe drag the more casual players back into it. Because ladder can be pretty intimidating to some people, you know? Especially now that we're into it, and people have started to really get a lot of legendary cards, and you get... I don't agree with the whole pay-to-win aspect, but there's definitely a big kind of sucker punch when you're playing a basic deck and you go on ladder and the first 25 you run into pulls rag, and you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? Like,
Yeah.
can't shut that down unless you're playing a certain deck. I don't think it's a pay-to-win game any more than most card games are, but that is a real kick in the teeth. Mm-hmm. Very unpleasant.
It's more disheartening than anything
Yes.
else, just to see something amazing, and you're like, I don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm way too far away from getting it.
Right.
So there is definitely that. But I think the single-player content, it seems to have done a good job of getting a lot more people into ladder and just revitalizing people's interest in Hearthstone. I mean, for God's sake, we had almost a year of no new cards. That was not good. I really hope now we get more.
Literally every morning and evening while we were at Gamescom, I was on the iPad playing Hearthstone. I was just like, yay!
That's where I did all my challenges, was there. I was like, that's really the only place I can do them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Absolutely. But it seemed like a good strategy. I certainly hope that they release expansion. Well, they're not calling them expansions, they're calling them adventures. They want to do like a 200-card expansion at some point, which will be the more traditional model of you buy boosters of this expansion, which I'm also fine with. That's fine. But I think the adventure way of doing the releases is good, and it does excite people who otherwise maybe had kind of got bored of the game. So overall, I think it's a success.
I think if they stick with the raid ideas, I think that's really cool. If they did a Blackwing, I think that'd be fun. Like, there's a lot of great things they can add.
Nefarian as a final boss would be phenomenal. Although I think the problem with Blackwing Lair is that it has the same problem as a lot of those early raids where a lot of the bosses outside of the last boss had no fucking personality whatsoever. Like, name the Drakes. You can't, can you? No.
Ebonwing. Dark Fanger.
Fucking knew it. You can't name them. You cannot name them.
But I think adding things like...
You were wrong there, by the way. It's Firemore, Ebonrock, and Flamegore.
Hey, look, I was close enough. Close enough. Ebonwing's their cousin from Philly. So I definitely think that having the Ulduar would be cool. Because everyone there had
Ulduar is
character.
perfect for it. It's a large enough raid dungeon to justify it, and everything in there's everyone remembers XD002, you know?
And they have the wings, and yeah, I think that would
be perfect.
Yeah,
but they'd rapidly run out of dungeons like that. Like that, people have suggested, do Molten Core as the next one. It's like half of Molten Core's already in the fucking game. Like, you can't do that. Blackwing would maybe work, but maybe not enough people remember it, because you got to remember that Naxxramas was remade later on, and a lot more players got to actually play it. But Blackwing Lair had stuff like Razorgore the Untamed, Valistraz the Corrupt, Broodlord Lashlair, then the 3 Black Drakes, then Chromagus, and then Nefarian. And most people probably don't remember them.
They're not very good, like...
They weren't well designed.
There's nothing gimmicky about that you can put in a card game.
You could do Veilstraz. Bear in mind, Veilstraz, you got like a super damage buff, and Veilstraz started on 20% health. It was actually pretty crazy. So maybe you could do something with Veilstraz. I don't know about the 3 Drakes, though.
I think definitely adding things like Ulduar would be good. I think having
Sunwell might work, maybe.
Or Black Temple.
It can't be Black Temple. Illidan's
already
already in the game. Yeah, and so things like Faceless Manipulators. So really, I think you've got to kind of do a dungeon that hasn't been tapped in any real way. Like, if the final boss is already a card in the game, chances are you can't do it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
So they've limited themselves pretty badly.
Lich King. I mean, there's Ice Crown.
Ice Crown is an obvious one that they could easily do. Yeah. How the fuck would they do the gunship battle in that? That would be really interesting.
So cool.
Yeah.
If there's just 2 gunships on the side, if that's what everyone got, like you just got another little thing at the bottom that was like it was a 2 mana thing and it fired cannons or whatever. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. AQ40 is doable, although again you have the same problem where a lot of people didn't do AQ40 and they really want that familiarity. But even so, like a lot of people play Hearthstone that have never even fucking played WoW, so maybe that's not a good enough excuse.
I don't know. I still think there's a lot of potential. We'll see what they do.
Yeah.
But I think most of it will. You're probably right. Most of it will be post Wrath of the Lich King.
Yeah. Do you think they'll do smaller ones? Like someone suggested Tempest Keep. Like that literally has 4 bosses in it. 4. So would you?
Or the arena? But the Black Knight's already in there.
Black Knight's already in there. Yeah, you can't do that one. I don't have a problem with that. Like if they release that, it's like here it is, 4 bosses, like $6. You get. I mean, I don't know if they'd have to do a class card for everyone again with that, but it's like a class card for everybody and 5 neutral cards. Would you go with that? I would. I'd do that. Or like a tour of the Outlands or something, like where they do all the little dungeons. It's like, here's Tempest Keep and whatever the fuck what was the one with Lady Vash in it? What's his...
Sunken whatever?
No,
and
that wasn't it.
Akendune and all those different things.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to do raids. They could actually do regular dungeons. But they'd have to be fairly memorable ones.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dungeons in that I don't... Karazhan, people suggested Karazhan with floors. That sounds fantastic. I can't imagine how they do the chess room. That would be kind of crazy.
Or the randomness of the plays. Unless you did all 3 plays. Like, that was one of the tiers, was all 3 plays, and then you could get the... So you'd have to go experience...
Yeah. Yeah, well, you could just have an entire week where it's just, here's the plays. It's like, it's 3 bosses that are the different plays.
Oh, and it's random every week, so you can play it again, and it would be random. So those are the 3 different bosses.
People
so
suggested Strat. Fuck Strat. Everyone hates Strat.
There's already Baron Riven there, so...
Yeah. I think they should do the Lion King and maybe some Cinderella. Although I'm not sure how you'll make the fairy godmothers work, but I trust you. Trust you to figure it out.
You are the worst fucking person who ever lived.
We can tell who in this podcast did not play World of Warcraft extensively. Okay, fine, we'll stop talking about Hearthstone. Jesus Christ.
I don't mind if we talk about Hearthstone. It's just
when it goes to the super wow stuff, you're like, your eyes just start to glaze over.
Those are some really cool sounding words.
We can talk about Dota. That would be even worse for the both of you.
Oh, God.
I don't know what my stats are, actually. Let me... This is probably going to end up on the wrong monitor, so if you see something weird for a second, then I apologize. But
I learned that I can start a racket of... So I now have multiple friends who work at Riot, and they, in their wallets, all of them, have little cards that are like, apparently if you work there, they give you little things to hand out to people.
Okay.
And they're wards that have like the little Riot logo on them, but they're perma wards, so you can change your wards. And I want to just start like, hey man, can I get one of those? Just start collecting them and selling them all on eBay. That is my life.
Yeah, you're a dickhead.
I'd make a fortune.
You're a dickhead.
Off of that.
I'm trying to find my profile. How do you...
We had Gamescom wards for Dawn Gate that we were giving out.
Yeah.
And they're so cute. They're like little robots, and they go choop, and then the Gamescom logo goes womp. It's great. Not as cute as the raccoon ward, but
oh Jesus Christ! So here it is. Yeah, this is becoming a problem. Dota 2, 69.6 hours past 2 weeks. Fuck. That is rare.
Doing some Dota?
I don't play one game for that much almost ever. Dota's got its hooks right back in me in the past month. Like, I play Dota daily, and I did a week where I streamed like 4 hours a night of Dota, just kept doing it. but I actually feel like I'm getting somewhere out of it. I feel like I'm getting out of a rut with it, and I'm starting to understand the game a bit better. It's like, great, I'm 369 hours into the game, and I feel like I'm starting to get it a bit. You know? Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it's getting pretty bad. I don't know how to escape it, actually. It's pretty ridiculous. But yeah, you play 1,000 hours of that game, and that's you're a good low bracket player if you play about 1,000 hours. So
Nope.
So you're getting there.
Nope.
yeah, I'm getting there. Yeah.
Zero.
Dota streams will
caring.
probably resume next week. If I've got the parents here, I'd rather not sit in my room playing Dota while the parents are here. It's like, well, I've just validated all the bad thoughts that you ever had about my gaming habits. There you go. Brutal.
They don't
Now
need
you
to
just
know.
lie. Now you're hiding it. Really. Now you're hiding
much.
it.
Now it's an addiction. Now it's a
Yeah.
problem.
Oh God.
I didn't
Someone
play.
get him help.
Oh, actually, I did play it yesterday. I only played 2 games yesterday. Only 2. I played more Hearthstone yesterday than I played Dota.
He blacks out. He blacks out when he starts playing.
Blackout, I
Dota.
wake
I don't
up and
know
my
what I'm
MMR's
doing.
dropped again. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
What happened to me?
Where's my ranking gone? I randomly ran into a bunch of Canadians in a game that you bond over how terrible other people are, yeah? So it's
Right.
kind of like our support group chats that we have, and we, like, hate everyone in them. It's kind of like that, but with Dota. I was in a game, I was playing Lich, and this other guy, I can't remember what he was playing, but we had a lane, and we were doing all right. We got kind of dicked on the first couple of minutes,
Got
and we
dicked
lost
on?
a couple of times, and then people were starting to rage. No, not like that, Dodger. I'm sorry. Not like that.
Jesse made
yeah.
the face first.
Yeah,
What?
I guess.
What?
We died a couple of times, and some other guy on the team started raging about it. It's like, well, GG, you died twice. Like, of course, everyone that plays Dota knows that that doesn't do anything, you know? Okay, we died a couple of times. They got a bit ahead. It doesn't matter. There's plenty of time to come back. And we start playing well, but, you know, the other guys are playing incredibly badly, and shit is going down, and there's this guy just raging about everything for, like, 50 fucking minutes. And, like, he's called GG about 10 minutes into the game. Yeah? He's like, I've given up!
Is his name Daytona?
No, it's not.
Why is everyone screaming Daytona? And
I was
what is-
wondering.
So there's a track. I have in my many video game soundtrack collections a really bad Japanese vocal version of the Daytona soundtrack. It is terrible, and that track came on during a Dota game. I just turned it up and let people soak in it for 4 minutes, and then changed my in-game name to Daytona, and just put a fucking car image, and now it's a thing. So there you go. But we bonded over how bad these guys were, and over how really terrible the guy in the mid who had given up after 10 minutes was. And he invited me to a party with, like, all of his, and brought some, like, other friends in. So we had a 5-man stack, and, you know, it was pretty cool because none of them knew who I was, which was awesome. So it was just like regular. We just played, and we played 3 fucking games, and we won all of them just really well. It was crushing. I was like, that was a really fun few hours I had with that. And I think the best way to maybe play Dota is if you find a person like that who you lane with and you get along with, add them to a party and play a stack with them, because that's the best way to play Dota. And now they're all on my friends list, and we play Dota together sometimes, and it's cool. So
I always assume that once I've played a game with somebody and then they try to add me as a friend or try to add me to another game, I assume it's so they can tell me how bad I am. So I always refuse.
That's why I do it.
Just be like, you're the worst. And then I
Dota.
never want to play that game again.
Dota's good. I like Dota.
Now I want to. Now I want to
much.
play PT with you, Dodger. I want that to happen. I want you to come over and sit right here, and let's play PT together.
You want
That
to
way,
let's play
when I-
PT together?
When I
We can
scream
do
like a
that.
little girl, you'll be screaming louder, and so it'll cover up my fear, my intense fear.
Well, just stick a camera on you, upload it, 200,000 views, guaranteed cash. You know how that thing
I
goes.
don't believe that for a minute. Neither of us have a British accent, so there's no way that's
True.
happening.
Or
we can pretend,
any
though.
accent aside from American, yeah.
Yes, we can pretend though. Crikey!
Oh, wow! It looks like there's a scary thing coming up there. It is.
That's what it looks like. It does.
It does look like a scary thing. Oh!
Whoa, that scared the bejeepers out of her. It did.
Wow! We're in kind of a sticky wicket here. How are we gonna get out of this one?
I'll just go through the chimney. I will. We'll go through it together. It won't my accent fall apart. I don't know. Dancing penguins serve us food.
That bullshit.
Cool, let's do that. Let's make that a playthrough.
Yep, that's what it'll be. We'll do it with accents too. We'll do it with accents. It'll be the best playthrough ever.
So did you play any other video games? Like, people are asking for news, and there really isn't a lot to talk about. The Gamescom didn't have a great deal of announcements, from what I could tell.
No.
Look, guys. Last week, actually, right now, there's a Humble Bundle going for the Japanese indie sale.
Have they stopped doing that? Because I think they may have switched over. Oh, is it? Hang on, it's under the Flash bundle, right? Yeah, they've stopped that. I think.
Man.
It's done.
Oh, what was
I bought
on
that
there?
bundle.
What did I miss?
It had Astabreed in it, which is a fucking great game.
It had lots of silly games in it. One of which that you should all play called 100% Orange Juice.
Oh.
Someone sent that to me the other day, and I was like, I don't know what this is, but it sounds
so
delicious.
Fucking weird. It's like, it's set up as a board game, but it's also a card game. So you're walking around the board and you're trying to like defeat other people on the board. So once you get to them, you can throw dice to see who wins, and you can have cards ready available to like do extra damage and stuff. Here's the problem.
Like that.
I know. See, I was like, this could possibly be good. My problem with it is there aren't enough cards that do anything like interesting for it to be an interesting game to play. Also, if you play campaign mode, being like, this will teach me how to play, you're wrong. You're so wrong.
Okay.
Because the way that the campaign mode starts out is you're like a huge group of kids, and you're chasing down this dog girl, and then one of them is like, we gotta get that dog girl, and you're like, yeah! And then suddenly you're on the board, and you're all fighting against each other. I was like, this has nothing to do with catching the dog girl. This is everybody fighting everybody on the board. And suddenly there's a boss. At the end, there's like a boss battle. And like, if you land on certain areas, you can fight the boss. But you don't have to beat the boss in order for the game to end. I have no idea what the win conditions were. Suddenly, one of the other girls on the board won. I was like, I don't understand.
What the fuck?
It's a strange game. Yes, Jesse?
Why is it called 100% orange juice?
Nobody knows.
No idea.
No one has a clue.
Maybe the dog girl needs orange juice?
Maybe that's how she lives. Maybe she stole orange juice, and it was the catalyst to this whole thing. And there's actually an epic story.
Shit.
Starts
I don't
off-
know that I don't know there was ever an epic story that started off with someone stealing orange juice.
That's how they met. That's how they all met. It was a grim reminder to humanity.
Speaking of Humble, by the way, there's definitely a couple of things you should check out. The Humble Weekly Bundle at the moment has One Finger Death Punch in it, and also has Stick It to the Man. So you probably want to be thinking about that. Two Brothers I haven't played Enemy Mine or Master Reboot either, but One Finger Death Punch is awesome, and it's obviously pay what you want, so you should get that. And the Humble Bundle, the Jumbo Bundle this week, is actually really good. It's got Deadlight, Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing, Galactic Civilizations 2 Ultimate, Terraria, King of Fighters 13 on Steam, Crusader Kings 2 plus 3 DLC packs, and if you pay more than $15, you get the Age of Empires Legacy Bundle, which is, well, Age of Empires and Age of Empires 2 HD. Oh, and Age of Empires 3 as well. And you get all the soundtracks. That's a pretty fucking good bundle, frankly. That's very, very good. So that's worth having a look at. Yep, so... Yes, all of that. Very much so. No, you're not. You're not in any way sorry. You see, if I had the technology, what I'd do is when you said that, my shirt would instantly turn blue. And
Right, yeah.
I'm afraid I don't have that level of production on this show.
Man, God, we need to step it up, guys.
We do, yeah. Do that shit in post. They'll probably forget to, but I'll send a message to tell the editor to change my shirt to blue when you
For
say
like a
that.
split second.
If they could make that happen, then I'll re-sign with Polaris for another year. There you go. That's
all it takes, Polaris.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say that no one will ever hear this. No one will watch this point in the podcast.
No.
He'll never. No
They're
one will
deleting
ever-
that entirely from the show.
Completely gone. Yeah,
Yeah.
that does not exist.
Yes. Oh, well. Any other video games?
Other
Nope.
games, guys?
Is that it? There really wasn't any fucking announcement at Gamescom. Like, the only thing that people said at Gamescom just pissed people off was the whole Tomb Raider thing, which annoyed the shit out of
Which
people.
Tomb Raider thing?
I don't know that it annoyed me. I just know that I didn't care.
It was announced as an exclusive for Xbox One, and then later it's like, actually, we just meant timed exclusive. This was after everyone got fucking super pissed about it.
Oh, okay.
But even that's bad, because obviously the first game was multi-platform, so people are furious.
Yeah.
I don't blame them. Not at all. Yeah. It's like, if you're gonna make an exclusive, do it yourself. Like, you own a studio, you can make your fucking exclusives. Don't buy it. Like, that's bullshit. Don't take what we had before and then say, you can't have it anymore. That's not a way to engender consumers to like you. That just makes me hate your guts. I'm less likely to support your company because you took something that I previously was going to have and was announced as a multi-platform initially. Or at least, it was assumed, yeah? Because they announced Rise of the Tomb Raider ages ago. Everyone assumed, yeah, it's going to be a multi-platform. Why wouldn't it be? Because it was on all platforms before. And then it's like, nope, Xbox One exclusive. Like, fuck Microsoft and fuck Crystal Dynamics and fuck Square Enix. That would be the three things that I would think at that point.
Square Enix.
No,
Squeenix!
The only people that cheer about this shit are fucking selfish pricks. It's as simple as that. It's like, I define my fucking identity by the console that I own. Aren't I a wonderful person? Like, no, you're an idiot. That's your problem. You will literally lose nothing by having that game be multi-platform. Zero.
You are literally the worst.
You're the worst, you are.
You're a bit of a twat, mate.
You're the worst, wow.
All right, mate, you're a bit of a fucking twat. That's your problem.
Sure.
Bastards. I don't think it was really anything else they announced. Like, hey, yeah, some stuff's going to console, like they're getting Daisy and Goat Simulator. Okay, well, that's truly the best the PC has to offer, so well
That
done.
is, yeah, that's the one thing I noticed
But
about
we're
all the
getting Metal Gear
conferences.
Solid 5, so, yeah, we got out well there.
Is that
I'll trade that.
multiplayer? Is that co-op?
What, Metal
They
Gear
said that
Solid
was
5?
co-op?
Was it?
Yes.
Is
Was
it
it?
co-op? Is this co-op right now?
Is it co-op? I think it was. I think I saw a thing that said you could play with someone else.
Metal Gear Solid 5? I don't know. No
Maybe
idea.
I dreamt that.
Yeah.
Guys, you need to stop
Google.
giving me candy from around the world. I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Implying you did anyway.
Well, before I did it with reckless abandon. Now I can't control myself.
It does have multiplayer.
Oh shit! I did read that somewhere.
Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, will have a multiplayer mode in which players can invade each other's home bases.
It's another one of
Oh.
the... So either it's Clash of the Clans or Dark Souls. We're not sure which at this point.
Yeah, that's not co-op. That's stupid. That's dumb.
Yeah, it's not co-op. It is multiplayer, though.
Yep.
It does count as multiplayer.
The Warlords of Draenor cinematic came out. Yep, it was a Blizzard cinematic. In other words, it was good. So that's all there is to say about it.
Although for nerds, they added the best scene, which was this time Garrosh saves Grom from being destroyed by the fire.
Sure.
It was the exact same thing from Warcraft 3, except he jumps in to save him.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Wow.
Yep.
Look, if
Timeline
you played
bullshit.
Warcraft, you would care, Dodger. It was a moment. It was a powerful moment from Warcraft 3 when Thrall sees his friend die. And now in this one, he's saved. But he's evil, so really nothing that mattered before matters. So.
Aw,
Fun
evil.
There's not really much else. Gamescom isn't actually the place where huge amounts of announcements do occur, especially when it pops up fairly shortly after E3, so, yeah. Oh, well. Never mind. What the fuck? What the hell's wrong with you?
It's just making faces and then...
You know what this proves? Next week, TV's gonna come back. It's like with my co-host Jim Sterling and
Jim
other
Sterling, Matt Lees, and Adam Sessler. Like, fuck you guys, I'm done with your bullshit. You went to Gamescom and literally had nothing to say.
Jesse had plenty to say.
Yeah, you just said
I had quite less because I was mostly at a booth, but
Indeed.
Gamescom was still, it was fun. It was interesting. It was big. You couldn't walk. And, you know.
No, you never can.
Yeah.
So, releases. Let's do the release list, shall we? Which did you get sent
Do we
this?
have one?
Yeah.
Yes,
Lauren
there is
apparently
one.
didn't send it to you. So
I got it.
All right.
Do you want to read it?
I have to load it.
I don't care who reads it at this point.
Do it, Jesse. I believe in you. You got this.
Look, I will do it. Hold on to your butts. Hold on to your butts. Okay, so coming out on today, Shadowgate for PC.
Yep, that was the game I was talking about earlier, the kind of point and click thingy. Seems pretty good.
Mega Man 6 for Wii U.
Always getting the relevant titles there on Nintendo, as you can see.
Life Force Wii U.
Literally nobody knows what that game is.
What is Life Force?
I'll Google it.
Exactly. It's probably a virtual console game.
For Wii U.
Life Force is a 1985 movie.
Well, shit.
Starring Tobe Hooper. Oh, wait, that's directed by Tobe
Oh, hang
Hooper.
on. Was that Salamander, the Japanese arcade re-release that was retitled Life Force? Yep, it's a virtual console game in 1986. Upright multi-scrolling shooter. Enjoy that.
Okay.
Wii U getting all the relevance again.
Demon King Box on 3DSe.
You see, that could be interesting. 3DS has some really weird shit. It mixes real-time strategy with classic RPG gameplay. Gather demons and heroes to join and aid your quest. That sounds pretty cool. Oh wow, it has a birthday verification on it. That means it's super serious.
This is not a
That
game
is a giant
children.
demon cat of some sort.
What the shit?
That appears to be a giant demon cat. And also, I think there's some rhythm game aspect in it. And there's barbecue. I want this now. Huh. It's one of those weird 3DS titles again. I am getting that. That sounds really interesting.
3DS, you're so crazy.
$4 for the craziness of Demon King Box.
Oh, that
with
ain't
its
bad.
demon cats. The demon cat is called Poo Dark. No, I'm deadly serious.
His poops are dark.
I don't know.
Ooh, Doc.
Okay, that sounds fun.
Okay, also coming out today is BlazBlue.
Clone Phantasma.
Clone Phantasma 3DSe.
Yep, 3DS version of BlazBlue. I have not ever had the desire to play that on 3DS, but apparently you can now, so there you go.
Extreme Sports 3DSe.
I have nothing to say.
On August 25th, there's Super Time Force Ultra for PC.
Yet another reason why, even if you get an exclusive on an Xbox One, you'll get a better version on PC later, so why the fuck even bother?
Then, August 26th is Metro 2033 Redux.
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Yep, they
PS4.
redid it in the new engine and all sorts of shit like that. They added a bunch of new things. There was a comparison video came out today. It looks solid.
Then, with what may be the weirdest commercial in the history of commercials, Madden NFL 15. I don't know if you guys have seen this commercial. I recommend to all of you, everyone on planet Earth, go look up the Madden 15 commercial or 20 and just be like, what the shit is happening? I can't even explain it. It is so weird. There's rapping and women singing and guys fighting each other and celebrities, and it's so strange. All I can say is watch it. Just go watch it. It's very weird. Then Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth on Vita.
Oh,
Bunch of anime bullshit.
it sounds like anime bullshit. Yeah.
Well, the Rebirth is what sells it. And then August 27th is Lethal League for PC. That is a really cute, fun game.
It's about throwing balls at people, mostly.
It is. And
Balls.
there's a character named Candyman, and I'm very good at it. I'm very good at that character. Candyman is unstoppable. Plus, he's I don't even know what the hell he is. He's a man with a cane. August 28th, SteamWorld Dig on Wii U.
Solid. It's a really good game.
Then there's Tapingo 2 on 3DSe.
Pretty crappy puzzle game. At least the first one was. We'll see if the second one's better.
Then a game that you need to buy. If you're a parent, you need to buy your child this to see the disappointment on their face. Donkey Kong Jr. Math for Wii U.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
If you
Now
want to see
Wii U is
your child,
truly
Daughter
relevant.
likes the Donkey Kongs.
right? If you want to see your child get really disappointed, buy them that game because they start opening it. Donkey Kong
You're like,
Jr.
Donkey Kong!
Math.
Aww.
Then there's Thorium Wars: Attack of the Starfighter. That sounds like a
Oh.
70s movie that came out either right after or right before Star Wars.
It is
Thorium
a
Wars.
It's a kind of Star Fox-esque game for 3DS, from what I can tell. It looks okay-ish.
Then we have, on the 29th, is Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright.
It's finally
Ace
fucking
Attorney.
coming
I
out
was
in
gonna
English.
say, God, it's been
Jesus,
so
how long have we
long.
been waiting for that one?
A decent amount of time.
Yeah, I would say so. I might play it.
I mean, we gotta try it, right?
Yes.
If you're fans of one of those franchises, you gotta know what it's like when
But
those
I just
worlds
don't like the other
collide.
one. That's the main problem, because the other one's like puzzles and shit. But
Yeah.
I'll play it. Why
Professor
not?
Layton, A+.
What's the worst that could happen?
Then there's Azure Striker Gunvolt and Mighty Gunvolt. Are they the same game, or is that two? Oh my god, can that be two different titles with the exact same name?
It is an NES-inspired
Gunvolt.
mini-adventure of some description.
Gunvolt? What the fuck is a Gunvolt?
Mighty Gunvolt is a thing that comes with it, apparently. Like some bonus thing. Oh, hang on.
Oh, what?
Oh, hang on a minute.
It looks like Mega Man, kinda.
Yes, so the Mighty Gunvolt one is an NES kind of inspired platformer that kind of comes as a freebie if you get As Your Striker Gunvolt, which is more of kind of a Super NES inspired kind of thing, which is a bit Mega Man-y kind of. Mm-hmm. And you are electric, and you blow things up with electricity. So there's that.
That's cool. All right, I ain't gonna hate on that.
And that pretty much wraps it up, by the looks of it.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Not incredibly interesting, is it? But it's okay, because you have, of course, Max Gentleman on Steam that you can play right now for free.
Yeah,
And
I
you
mean,
you
guys, what are
probably
you
should.
doing right now?
Why are you not playing Max Gentleman immediately?
Why are you not playing Max Gentleman? Why are you listening to a podcast instead of playing Max
You
Gentleman?
could listen to a podcast
Before-
about Max Gentleman, but
Before
trust
you
me.
play Max Gentleman, go watch that Madden commercial because I need to relate. I need people to relate to me on how weird that is. I can't be the only one who thinks it's the strangest thing that was ever made.
They had
by
to release
any-
an article to explain what the fuck it was, so I would say there's probably an element of strangeness
It
in
is.
that.
It is definitely some guys at EA were like, "What is the internet like? Things that make no sense? Sure, that's it. Let's do that." And that's what they gave you.
That's what
Yeah.
happened.
Watch it.
Yep. I'm not going to reward the chat with the Daytona music because they've tried to turn it into a shitty Twitch meme, and now I hate it. So
Daytona!
no,
Daytona!
no,
Daytona!
no.
Daytona!
You guys have ruined it. This is what happens when you repeat shit over and over again. It gets boring and stupid. No,
Daytona.
I'm teaching you a valuable lesson about life.
Daytona. Daytona.
I can easily mute you,
Daytona.
and I will. I really will.
Daytona.
Ah, the sign of silence. Absolutely fantastic. There we go. You assholes. Are you ready to play nice yet?
Yeah.
Good. Glad to hear it. We have the last 1 minute of the show, so tell people what the hell is coming this week from you. Jesse, go.
Thank you everyone who came to CoxCon. That was a lot of fun. It was 600 of you showed up. That was a little more than I expected. So that was a thing, and I am thankful for all of you who have been there, and everyone at Comic-Con, Jesus, everyone at Gamescom who stopped by. Thank you as well. Please don't send me any more candy. I feel like I'm gonna die. And more importantly, this week on the channel, we're gonna green lights back because I'm back in the country, and I'll get out the all the other Hearthstone things that everyone was like, "Where's Hearthstone, dummy?" So that'll be done. And then Cry and I are still playing Resident Evil 6, which is the worst game ever made. Holy shit, go watch those videos. It is awful. And 90% of that is not us. And then I am going to do a bunch of indie games before PAX. I have a ton of games on my desktop that I want to play. And I'll just do like one-shots of those. And then when I come back from PAX, we'll actually start doing real things again. But yeah, there's just too much stuff happening. It's August. It's convention month. I love you all. Cox and Crendor Patreon, go there. Crendor told me to tell you that. I'm sorry, TP. Go there, give us your money. And as always, it's Dodger's turn.
Hi, everybody. Also, thank you to everybody who came and said hi at our meetup and also at the booth while we were at Gamescom. That was amazing. It was so cool to meet all of you. Yeah, same here. It's convention month. Things are scattered all over the place, and I appreciate your patience. I'm trying to catch up and work on a bunch of stuff this week and next week before PAX, and after PAX I'll have a lot more time. But this week it's going to be gameplay. We're also doing some craft streams, starting with the one from yesterday where we did a cool bleach project. So if you come today, you'll see how the bleach project turned out and work on some other stuff. But yeah, other than that, it's just same old here. It's just cats and coffee and all the things. So youtube.com/pressR to continue, youtube.com/dexterity bonus, and on all the social medias at dexbonus.
Wait, are we doing that now too? youtube.com/JesseCox, Jesse Cox on Twitter, Jesse Cox in your heart. 18 inches of Jesse Cox bought at a cleaner store. Like, I don't remember what the joke was.
Bought at a
was
discount
funny,
price by the sounds of it.
Bought at a footlong hot dogs shop.
The fact that anyone's willing to pay TB is flattering. even if it's at reduced cost. I am honored.
You'll always find someone. All right, well, this week the parents are over, so, I mean, obviously the last few weeks you guys know that it's been kind of reduced output. We've been trying to shoot for about 1 video a day. I'm trying to get back onto this whole 2 videos a day. I've got like a month and a bit before surgery and shit, so I'm hopefully going to try and get back to as regular a schedule as possible. So, things coming up, I will probably do a video tonight of Max Gentleman, because why the fuck wouldn't I? That's going to be a thing that happens. A lot of people have asked me to actually try and do a video of Golem Arcana, the actual tabletop game. We are considering doing something like that. We actually have some equipment to make that happen. We've got some GoPros and some other lighting shit. So maybe we can. But I'm not promising anything, so don't even fucking start with me. Outside of that, there will be Hearthstone gimmickry. There may be another Dota montage, depending on whether or not I stream. I'm not really streaming this week, though, because the parents are here again. So just bear that in mind. I am considering bringing back an early access show of some sort, although if I did it, it would probably be recommendations for stuff that I'm absolutely sure isn't fucking awful. I'm still thinking about exactly how to do that. I don't know about the format yet. I'm having to think about it. But that will happen. Outside of that...
Oh, no, your opinions, TB. Your opinions! You can't offer those to the internet.
I'm not allowed to give my opinions to the internet. No, it's a very, very bad idea. But there's another week of the shirt still being on sale, and then it will be off sale forever. So if you do want that shirt, it is bit.ly/TB merch will take you there. And that is, of course, the store over on Rodeo Arcade. So you'll be able to pick that up. Of course, you can also buy the poster, which is actually slightly larger than we initially said it was. So you get an even bigger poster. And once that is done, it will be gone forever. So please do pick up your shirt now if you haven't already, because you might forget and then you'll never get it again. Such is the way of things. You can find me at twitter.com/Totalbiscuit. Did I just pass 330k? Fuck. Yeah, I did. I passed 330k today. That's terrifying. I don't want those followers. I really actually don't. It's really scary. I'm not allowed to say anything without there being a consequence. It sucks. And
let me say for you... Patreon.com/CoxandCrendle. Go there, guys.
Fuck you. Yeah, he's begging over there, so you can do that. This, of course, is my Twitch channel, as you're probably well aware, twitch.com/TotalBiscuit. Big thanks to the new Twitch subscribers. If you missed any of the show, you can see it in the Twitch VODs right now. It's all available there for you, and all of my previous VODs for my Dota streams are there if you want some extra content. And I think that's probably about it, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that I missed. Am I right? There's probably something really important and someone's most likely very disappointed somewhere. That's
Probably.
There you go. That's it. So we're done. Thank you very much for watching the Co-optional Podcast. Hopefully you had a good time. We will hopefully see you again next week with a guest, possibly. It could happen. Good night. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. All right, I'm gonna go.